So you can catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while let Ivan scratch it. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it. Catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while let Ivan. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it. What you know about classic
music? 4, 3, 2, 1. Ah, fuck! We're off the screen. They only see our eyes right now, just to put it in perspective. Actually, you know what? I know. You know what? I know exactly how to fix this problem though. Because you know what? Why not? Here, let me. Nope. Where is OBS? There it is. Okay, cool. There! Oh, no! It shows the OBS multiple times. I thought...
Oh, God!
Oh, God!
No!
Inception!
What did I click on? Fuck!
Inception! Yeah, no, that's not good. Okay, wait. Fuck it. Alright. Hold on. There's
typical FPW intro, we just fuck up everything.
I thought I had everything, and then I forgot, this isn't a 3-person retro. And it was fucked up. Yeah, but it's fine. We got it. We're there in the end. And now, almost there. Yay! Hi everyone! Welcome to the Retro Wrestler Review Craptology. I'm your host, James the Autism Man, and with me is the Greek of that's not autistic and stupid.
Yeah, I inhibit some of that qualities the longer I hang out with you people.
Yeah, listen, man. We make it deaf and we make it go autistic. You know, it all just kind of naturally happens that way. But we're here.
What?
That's the 3rd straight fucking video, by the way. Something fucked up, I think, in a row. So yeah, we're on a great streak here. But hey, we're here. That was at least this time. The only thing that fucked up was the fact that they can only see our eyes. That was like the only thing that fucked up, but everybody could hear us at least. And today, for this retro or re-retro, as it would be, Nikos and I decided that we would do WrestleMania 23, aka the night where the World Emperor Trump decided to shave the head of a fucking tyrannical dictator known as Vince K. McMahon.
You mean future God Emperor Trump?
No. Oh, God. Why is that?
Yeah, you've been seeing this fucking hat in the intros. You'd never see it on fucking video. Here you go.
Here. I'm just gonna...
Return of the MAGA hat.
Listen, for those who fucking are gonna get all pissy baby here, I'm just gonna put out here, this is strictly for satirical purposes only. Do not take life too seriously. Alright? This is not a political statement that he or I believe. At least all the way. Certain aspects, but not everything.
Will rule all!
But yeah, I just want to put that out there before people, get butt hurt because they can't take a joke. Anyway, what was I going to say? So yeah, WrestleMania 23. A very, very underrated Mania, I think. I think a lot of people kind of forget this one, mainly because of, a certain man that was on the show that would commit a tragedy like 2 months later. But...
we all know what happened at this point. It is what it is, but, we still had fun with it, with all the matches leading up to this moment.
Like, this was a good...
But
this was a great Mania, like, all things considered. I think,
and
anyway.
I don't think I've told you guys, or, like, anyone else, but, this was the Mania that got me into watching wrestling.
Fucking
This was
Christ.
my first Mania exposed. I had no idea who these people were. I didn't know who Vince McMahon was. I knew who Trump was at the time. And the only reason why I wanted to see this pay-per-view was because of The Undertaker. Because before I met you, Mike, Casey, and all the other guys, an old friend of mine named Jamie, who I knew since middle school, told me about the WWE, told me about all these wacky, crazy characters. And the one character that piqued my interest, so to speak, was The Undertaker. Just this tall, menacing figure with a death stare that is incredibly unbeatable at every WrestleMania. And I'm like, all right, cool. He sounds cool. I'm interested. Let's get into this. So I begged my dad to pick up this copy for me at Walmart. And just at the perfect time, too, because I think this was like a month after this DVD was released. So
Really?
I
Okay,
bought the
so...
DVD.
So you got
Yeah,
this
so-
DVD
so
before Benoit was being scrubbed from the history books.
Oh yeah, before,
Perfect.
I watched that at, like, literally the both perfect and imperfect time, and I just watched this whole thing, and my mind was blown away at just what wrestling could open into my mind, because I'd never heard of wrestling, and like I said, I didn't know who these characters were. I didn't know what the memes would create even before.
Right.
But just watching this Mania, I'm just so overwhelmed and bewildered of just how much I missed out on my childhood,
Bro.
because of just how well this company created. And of course, you know, as would happen, 2 months later down the road would be the Chris Benoit tragedy. And that just immediately killed my flow of, well, now I can't watch wrestling because then I would be glorifying a murderer. And I wouldn't get back into wrestling until the release of WrestleMania 25, which I thought was good. And from WrestleMania 25 onward till like 2011 or like 2012.
Oh, definitely.
Actually, no, until
2014.
it
was 2011 because 2011 was 27.
Yeah.
My uncle had to pay for that Mania, and I called the cable companies after that fucking show. Hey, can we get my uncle's money back, please? Thank you.
I mean, I stuck with that WWE until 2014 when Punk left. As soon as Punk left, my interest in it just completely died.
Along with a lot of other people.
Yeah. To pinpoint my start into becoming a wrestling stan would have to be this pay-per-view here.
Fair enough.
And I'm glad that we are taking the time to revisit it. I know this has been revisited by Owen and Noah like a couple of years back, but with a new perspective, we just feel like we wanted to get like a new fresh take on how well this pay-per-view aged.
Yeah, and honestly, get used to that for a lot of the retros we've done, because we have so many people that could do a retro now that it would be easy to just redo a retro. Plus, it's nice to have the cool graphics with the retro we're talking about, you know? It's cool.
Yeah. Before the FTW takeover.
Yeah, well, back when everything was filmed on a fucking potato and Cyberlink UCam.
Oh, God. I watched Owen and Noah's review of 23, and immediately I'm just like, oh, man, look at this baby boy here with his prehistoric potato DSL Wi-Fi. Oh, how times have changed.
Which one exactly was the... Which one are we talking about, Owen or Noah? Or is the answer yes?
Yeah, pretty much. Literally,
you know why? Because it was filmed on Skype. It was filmed on Skype, which sucked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was filmed on Skype, where it literally just all opens up with Noah staring blankly, and then just fucking Owen is just like,
"You will be welcomed into the 240 potato. Want to go into the portal of 240?
No, it wasn't even 240. It was like 144. I had to turn up the highest quality data from my phone to watch that video, it still was grainy as shit.
Yep.
Like,
dude,
thank God we upgraded since then.
Bro, I watched our old fantasy booking series. I was like listening to the ECW while doing my uncle's doc, just have it in the background. And oh my God, like, I didn't have this, right? So automatically it's already not good, right? But I'm in my dad's living room that he set up for me in the busted ass fucking futon that we had, right? With this thing, without any of these shirts as the fucking divider, and I'm just in a landscape fucking box and talking about ECW rebooking the shit. And while the booking was good, boy, do you have to get past a quality deficit of that recording. Oh my God. So bad.
It's like we're just all looking down on you. Even now, like the way I'm positioning my camera, because I'm using my phone to record this, even how I'm just kind of looking down on you and see how far you've delved into that little man cave that you had back then.
Yeah.
Kind of like a landslide that you just inescapable trying to get out.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, like, this is practically the man cave I'm in, but, like, I'd rather be here doing videos than out there, because holy shit, like, that killed my back. That killed my back.
That's a fact.
But yeah.
Now you're probably wondering, why are we talking about moments of the past that happened? Well, here's the thing. That's the whole point of this tagline for WrestleMania. It's the WrestleMania tagline with this was called All Grown Up.
Great segue.
10 years after their WrestleMania 3, which also took place in Detroit. And it just goes like a whole segue of transitions of what has happened, what has changed in the past 10, 20 years that took place during Detroit. This pay-per-view took place on April 1st, 2007 in the Ford Center.
Yeah.
Literally mirroring the 20 years ago when they took place in Detroit. At the time, this was the highest grossing pay-per-view with a buy rate of close to around, I want to say 5.38 million, which is
it was
skyrocketed.
Fucking staggering figure. Like, to the point where everybody always has that common misconception that Mania 17 was the most bought Mania, and they're so wrong. They're dead wrong. It's actually this. This is the highest bought WrestleMania of all time, pay-per-view wise.
This was actually had more buy rates than X8, which had a buy rate of, I think, like 3.6 million.
Yeah.
But
there was Mania 20 may have it beat. I'm not entirely sure, but all I know is 20 and 23 have 17 beat. They definitely have 17 beat.
Oh, that is true.
I think behind 17
was
behind 17 I think is 18 and 19. So there you
go. The total capacity of the people in the arena was around 81,000, and the buy rates was around 1,300,000 pay-per-view buy rates. Which
that careens.
We all know
Mania
which match
17.
was expected for this buy rate.
Yeah, and as a lot of people want to say, oh, it had nothing to do with Trump and Vince. It had everything to do with Trump and Vince. Had everything to do with it.
This was pretty much a love letter between Trump and Vince leading up to this moment here.
Yeah,
let's not kid ourselves here.
Pretty much.
With the connections they've had since like WrestleMania, I think 9 or something. Yeah, this was impactful.
Hey, yo, Vince, I owe you one, Chief. Well, what are we gonna do, pal?
Vince, I'll owe you one. Just please, let's have a match together. You know, 1-on-1. We put both of our hairstyles on the line.
Well,
and I will say this: when Vince shaved his head and grew it back, it was not the same.
Oh my God! It never was. Yeah, man, that fucking dude, that head of hair he had was impeccable. There's a lot of things I can shit on that motherfucker for, but that hair I can't shit on, bro. He had it on point. So good on him.
I remember when people were freaking out when Elvis had to shave his head for the military. I'm like, yeah, after he grew back that hair, it just wasn't the same.
No.
With Vince, yeah, it was agreed.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing about the buy rate for the pay-per-view, tickets. Would it surprise you that back then ticket prices were $25 each?
Yeah, that
Man,
doesn't
how
surprise
times
me.
have changed.
Yeah,
Like
doesn't surprise me
with
back
that
then.
buy rate, yeah, they were cheap during that time. Imagine how much they would have been worth now. Like
Oh my
nowadays,
God.
ticket prices for Mania would have been like $61.
Yeah, they're probably way more expensive if you're trying to get onto the front row. I mean, even then, like,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure front row
absolutely.
was cheaper than it is now. Like, front row is fucking ridiculously expensive.
Now to go back to the topic of the all grown up whole tagline for this pay per view, it was a mixed bag of like, you show the kid wrestlers, trying to be badass, and then you actually show the actual wrestlers. But let's be real here. Let's talk about the main reason why we're reviewing this pay-per-view. And that has the Golden Globe for best kid wrestler segue has to go to the kid who portrayed Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Let me explain.
Go on.
Let me explain.
We're already starting with this. This should have been the main event.
This should have been the main. What, Stone Cold Steve Austin performing a Stone Cold Stunner on the kid who portrayed as him? Oh man, that would have been bad.
Yeah, no.
But no. So for those of you who don't remember, they showed the kid versions of John Cena holding up the title, Batista doing, the whole thing on the turnbuckle, and then they had Kid Austin taking 2 cartons of school lunch milk, pounding them against each other, and then he doesn't dump the milk down his throat, he just dumps that shit in his
eyes, dude. Right in his eyes.
Stone Cold dead ass retard.
Yeah, so just to put this in perspective, so Nico saw this, and I remember we were talking about this like randomly in the car. We were recording WIW matches. We're in the car with Casey, and we're talking about Mania 23, and he says the one thing that I remember about that Mania is that of how the first thing I thought of, because I'd never seen wrestling before, was, man, Stone Cold Steve Austin was dumb as rocks and full retard as a kid. Because he dumped milk in his eyes. Right in his eyeballs.
So this wasn't when we were recording WIW. This is after we reviewed Mania 15.
Oh,
it was talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then I brought up the fact, hey, remember when Stone Cold as a kid dumped milk in his eyes? And I literally thought, because again, my first expose into wrestling, watching WrestleMania 23, watching these kids, and I thought, hey, are these the kids? Is this the wrestlers when they were kids? Is this Stone Cold Steve Austin as a kid dumping milk in his eyes? Wow, he's dumb.
Pretty much, yeah.
Bitty Christmas. Oh my god! And just to give you, just to update you guys, I was 9 when I saw this, so please don't give me shit on this. I was a fucking middle schooler. Okay, cut me some slack. I didn't know any better. Hell, I probably went to school with this kid. He's probably an adult now working at fucking Best Buy or something. But, and the funny thing about this leading up to the opening of the show was the opening package where they show all the kid versions of the wrestlers, and yet they don't show Trump and McMahon having their beef. It's just a vignette of all the feuds leading up into this Mania, where it's kind of confusing because wasn't this whole thing built up to Trump and McMahon just having the whole hair versus hair thing, the battle of the billionaires? They were making this a huge deal.
Yeah.
Probably the reason why people bought this pay-per-view, but not just no mention at all during the hype package. But either way,
which is fucking crazy to me, by the way. Like, that's crazy to me that they barely mentioned this until the match happened. Like, they barely mentioned it at all. Which is so weird. I mean, I guess it sold itself, really, but, like, still. Like, you thought they would hype this up all night. Like, especially when you consider the fact of, like, how many WrestleManias we've been reviewing just in general this month, the last couple of months, where Vince hammered home every fucking segment, especially at 10. It was egregious at 10. Like, he just hammered shit home. Like, you better know about this. This was the thing that happened. You know, Bill Clinton, oh, it's a big deal. Bill Clinton's there, even though it's not fucking Bill Clinton. You know, and all this other shit. Like, he had such a habit of doing that. I'm shocked he didn't do it for his match here. Like, you would have thought this would have been prime advertising all over the show.
The one thing that Vince did surprisingly in this pay-per-view was showing love to OG ECW. That I did not expect.
That was so strange, yeah. Like, there was so much ECW representation on this show. I was actually shocked. Because when you really think about it, Punk had a great showing in the Money in the Bank and only was runner-up to Mr. Kennedy. And then they had the ECW Originals and the New Breed fight and, like, their own showcase match, which had, by the way, the greatest monkey flip of all time. and fucking Bobby Lashley's in the Battle of the Billionaires as the ECW champion. Say what you will about Lashley, and Lord knows plenty of fucking people have. Lord knows I have. But it's fucking nuts how much representation there was for this third brand at the time.
Did he deserve to be ECW champion? No, but in a main event spot, yeah.
In a main event spot like that,
do for him.
Yeah. I'm not even against him being the ECW champion. I feel like it's just the way they went about it was fucked. It was fucked, you know. But anyway, I could plug the fucking how they fucked up ECW all day long. Just watch my booking, you'll understand.
Yeah.
But with that said,
let's just get right into this with actually the introduction with I think her name was Angela Williams, who performed America the Beautiful.
What a great rendition of America the Beautiful.
The same one who performed America the Beautiful 20 years ago. Because again, all grown up. It's been 20 years since they went to 4 together, since WrestleMania 3. It's
hell of a
pretty much
hell of a meta way.
Sense.
That was a meta way to open up the show. That was really cool. Like that, she went. They went and showed her at 3, and then all of a sudden she's there at 23, 20 years later. That was cool. That was really cool.
Yep. So now we get started with our first match, which is the Money in the Bank ladder match. Our contestants are the Hardy Boys, Edge, Randy Orton, Mr. Kennedy, Finlay, King Booker with Sharmell, and I said Kennedy, right? Who else was in that match? I think that was it. Or was there another one?
No, there was more. Hold on. There's definitely I think we're missing one more. Hold on, let me get to it. So the first match is Jeff Hardy versus King Booker versus Fit Finlay versus CM Punk versus Ken Kennedy versus Matt Hardy versus Randy Orton versus Randy Orton versus Edge. And
I forgot Punk. Sorry.
This Money in the Bank match still holds up. Like this.
Can I just say that after rewatching this match after so many years, again, I had no knowledge of who these characters were. I just saw, like, based off their gimmicks, like Jeff Hardy, for instance, I thought, oh, wow, this guy looks crazy. I hope he wins. But just the physicality and the brutality of this match was like, I wonder if James picked up on this and said, hey, I'm going to do WIW, like, years earlier. Because this is exactly what this match feels like. It feels like
a WIW
match. WIW match.
Yeah, pretty much.
You probably took liberties at this. I know you did.
Yeah. I was like, sure. Yeah, this feels like WIW. Maybe this is probably what inspired me for half the spots we do on there. But yeah, this match goes crazy. I'm going to read off this guy's article. By the way, the article that we are basing this off of, just to give credit to our sources, as Noah says we should always do, is by John Canton of TJRWrestling.net. So go show them some love. So yeah, we're going to start off with this match. Fast-paced to start out. Everybody was brawling onto the floor, so Finlay, of all people, dove off the top rope onto everybody on the floor. Yeah, for some reason, Finlay's like, I want to do high spots. This is my time to do high spots. Fuck it.
Okay, I'll do high spots.
Why not?
My
name is Finlay. My name is Finlay, and I love high spots. Sorry.
I'm fondly for Finley.
There you go.
But one more thing before we continue. The commentators for this is the Raw, SmackDown, and ECW commentators. For SmackDown, it was Jerry the King and Ross.
No,
that was for Raw.
That was for Raw. So it was Hall of Famers, recent Hall of Famers, Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. For ECW, it was Joey Styles and Taz. And for SmackDown, it was Michael Cole and JBL. Bro.
JBL as commentator, man, that was peak JBL.
He was so good here. He was so good here. By the way, everybody shined on that booth. That never should have fucking worked. Never should have worked in a million years.
It couldn't. Like it was having a 4-man, and I'm including 4-man because of the Spanish commentary, but the 4-man booth with each 2 different people from each brand on it couldn't have worked, but by God, it did.
Bro.
And I wish more companies did that flow.
Because
it had a perfect flow.
It was so cool because the way they did it was perfect, because anytime a SmackDown guy took charge, a SmackDown guy would chime in if they were color. But, like, basically, the main 3 people that were calling the action were Cole, Lawler, and JR, who were great, by the way. They were great in Mania 25, which you mentioned earlier. But, like, specifically, and even JBL. Like, JBL was a great 4th man. Taz was really good. Joey Styles, he got his shit in when he needed to. And, like... Like, he did, because everybody else was doing the work for him, but he came in when he needed to. It was really, really unbelievable, like, how well this gelled. I don't know why it gelled so well, because it's 6 fucking people. 6 people on this booth. Never should have worked, but it did. By the way, this would be your commentary throughout the rest of the night, through various matches. But this is, like, the way we're kicking it off. We're establishing the brands right away in this Money in the Bank ladder match, so there you go. So yeah, fast-paced to start out the match. Everybody was on the floor. Finley did his highest spot. Then Jeff and Kennedy paired off. Booker pulled out the step ladder out of the ring. He goes, "Tail me!" And then he gets attacked from behind. Punk uses it as a weapon on 3 guys, and boy, did he fucking use it as a weapon. Bro, it's
he does the Terry Funk thing. Which,
well, that's what the regular ladder, but this Terry Funk spot is, I got a fucking step ladder. I'ma chuck it. I'ma chuck it at the motherfucker's head. Oh, you got a concussion? Oh well, sorry.
You're bleeding from the head and a concussion? Oh well, fuck you.
You dumb son of a bitch.
Like 20 years when you fuck yourself over in a different promotion, bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. What the fuck? Like, he just chucked the shit at him. Like, there was no way to fucking brace for impact on that shit, too, because it was flying. The way Punk shoved this shit, too, was like, woo! And, like, he was fucking throwing a goddamn... He was like Tom Brady throwing a football. It just darted. Like, the fuck...
Wait, was it Punk or was it Edge who threw it? Because I remember it was Edge throwing it at Punk.
I think they both did it. Yeah. So yeah, right here. So Booker pulled the stepladder. Punk uses it as a weapon, chucks it at 3 guys, and then Edge, with retaliation, hits him with the stepladder shot to the head, and Punk's head was cut. Probably legit. I don't think there was no way you could have faked that. He probably did get cut open hard way. In the ring, Booker...
Back then, you didn't...
Go ahead.
Back then, you didn't need to blade. You just... You did it the hard way, which is...
Oh, no, trust me.
This was ruthless aggression.
No, trust me. People still bladed on a ruthless aggression, but there were times where they didn't need to. That was one of those times.
No, because this was fucking balls to the wall.
Yeah. In the ring, Booker hits a spine buster on 3 guys, and then he did a spinneroonie to a big pop, even though he was a heel. The Hardy Brothers took Booker out with a ladder and then went to double team Edge. He fought out of it thanks to Finley shoving Jeff off the top rope, and Edge gave Matt a superplex onto the ladder. Fuck me, that looked brutal. Kennedy tossed Edge.
For some reason, Matt... and sorry for cutting you up, but for some reason, Matt just ate shit throughout the entire fight.
Time.
Like, what did he do that pissed them all off?
Right.
Christ.
Kennedy tosses Edge out of the ring. Kennedy went for the Kenton. Holy shit. His version of the Swanton on the ladder, but he missed when Matt moved out of the way, so Ken hit the ladder. This motherfucker in this review says he barely grazed it. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He hit the fucking ladder. Right on his fucking head. Oh my god. I'm shocked Kennedy could even continue after this. Jeff then hit his own Swanton Bomb, which was admittedly a pretty good spot. And then uses the ladder to knock down Finlay, Orton, and Booker. The Hardys climbed up the same ladder and fought near the top of the ladder. Finlay shoved them off. JBL did such a good job putting over the importance of this match. Yeah, he really did. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
He's an absolute prick of a human being, but shout out JBL. He was on fucking fire here the whole time. The whole time for this Money in the Bank. Finlay with 4 clotheslines to knock some guys down. Edge hits a spear on 6 of the guys. When he went for the spear on Punk, Punk jumped over him and Edge was crashing into the turnbuckle. Punk put the ladder on his shoulders and then he started using it as a weapon, a la Terry Funk. So Edge came back and hit Punk with a spear. And the spear hit the other guys while he hit Punk. So the other guys were knocked down with the whirly bird, and then there was 2 other motherfuckers that got taken out with the same spear onto Punk because Punk had the ladder on him. That was a fucking great spot. I love that spot. Edge brought in the hugest ladder that he could fucking find from Home Depot.
You bought the Big Show ladder before the Big Show ladder was a thing.
Exactly. I would guess that this was about 12 feet high, as this guy says. Probably actually like about... I think it might have been like 14 feet high, actually. Maybe like 16. Orton shoved the ladder and Edge went flying to the floor where he took a bump feet first, which, dude, that couldn't have been good for his spine at all. Like, fuck me. Like, everybody thinks, oh, it barely fucking affected him. Bro, when you land on your feet from that fucking height and you are not naturally athletic or haven't been athletic for a while, that's not a good day at all. Edge and Orton's Rated RKO alliance was no more. Jeff gave a front suplex to Orton. Meanwhile, on the floor, Matt put Edge onto the ladder. Oh boy. That was stretched from the security wall to the apron. Edge originally placed it there. Jeff used that opportunity to climb this 14-foot tall ladder, scaling by the 12th run. And he jumped off the ladder with a leg drop and drove Edge right through the fucking ladder, breaking it in half. Holy shit.
On his ass.
Bro.
Fucking falls on top of Edge, breaks the ladder, and from that moment, I saw Jeff performing this stunt, and I immediately became a fan of Jeff Hardy from that. Bro. And I also thought that he had a tail from that jump because of the highlight, but then it turns out, oh no, it's just a shirt that he has that made it look like a tail.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah, his dress sense was always fucked.
But man, just seeing that spot, or that bump rather, like seeing it as a kid was wild enough to think that, yeah, daredevils do exist, but only in wrestling, and it always gives up like their 100% potential. But when you're watching it now, knowing of all the things that Jeff has gone through and where he eventually ended up at, yeah, I think there have been moments in his life where he could have calculated on his risk.
Yeah, and by the way,
man, for the time,
it was fucking nuts. It was such a fucking gnarly spot. Yeah, for the time. And I will say, this wouldn't be the only time Edge and Jeff would kill each other in a fucking ladder match, by the way.
No.
Judgment Day 2009 would like to speak to you for the fucking world title. Mm-hmm. Which they both almost
and after
killed
that,
each other
both men had to be stretchered to the back because they were...
Yeah.
How do you get up from that? They're fucking done.
Yeah. So, it was a huge reaction. Jim Ross was wondering if they were both broken in half. Crowd went wild. Huge spot. Referees check on both guys. They both do the X sign for an injury. The EMTs came out to pull Jeff and Edge on stretchers so they were completely out of the match. JBL yelled about Jeff hurting Edge and himself. And he says, "Damn it, Jeff Hardy! Damn it to hell! He could have won the damn match!" I'm fucking like, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, he's not fucking wrong.
He could have, but he said, "Nah, watch this devious lick."
Yeah, bro. Like, and everybody everybody had sympathy for Jeff, and Jamie had none. He had zero sympathy. Fucking, something about, like, I swear Taz said he landed right on those yam bags. He did. And he's like, "Watch this impact!" And then bam, on the replay. I was just like, holy fuck. Bro, it was a fuck spot, bro. It was a fuck spot. And by the way, that wasn't the end of the match. So, the DMTs came out, pulled Jeff and Edge on stretchers, so they were out of the match. JBL yelled about Edge hurting himself. Back in the ring, Orton hits a huge RKO on Matt Hardy. Then an RKO on Finlay. How about one for Kennedy? He gets an RKO too. Punk uses a ladder onto the back of Orton to knock him down. Orton and Punk climb up the same side of the ladder, and Orton hits the RKO from the top of the fucking ladder. Huge bop for that. It looked great. Booker went up. Orton went up to meet him at the top. Booker hits the fucking bookend onto Orton off the top of the ladder, and I swear he broke his fucking neck here. I thought he, honest to God, broke his neck watching this back. Like, I'm shocked Orton didn't tear his rotator cuff knowing the history of shoulder problems, just by seeing the way he took this bump.
It was at the moments when he was about to crash onto the ropes where it kind of looked like, yeah, he almost necked himself.
Dude, it was fucked. It was so fucked. This was a great spot, too. Queen Sharmell went into the ring, grabbed Matt's leg, and then he was about to give her a twist of fate, so Booker jumped back down to fight with Matt. And this was hilarious, because then JBL yells at Booker for making the wrong move. "Booker, leave her! I left plenty of women! Oh, damn it, Booker!" Dude.
Fucking dude, just standing there conflicted, and all you hear is JBL. Just fuck her, leave her.
Dude, it's so, like, I know he's a prick. We've called him out on being a legit prick for years on this channel, on my channel, on anything to do with the fucking FTW Productions conglomerate, alright? We have reamed this asshole out to no end. But man, did that also help him on the fucking booth when you didn't hinder his bullshit. Holy shit. Dude, JBL was phenomenal here. Like, just he was the star of the show on the booth.
Pretty much.
Bro, like, the audio itself should be a commentary track that you put on Spotify to get fucking replay value. Like, it was so good. It was so fucking good, man. And then, he also says, "That's what women will get you." JBL was funny sometimes.
JBL reached his peak when he first became a commentary. When he came out of commentating to wrestling, that's when I'm like, all right, well, he's lost on that. Then he went back into commentary. But no, when he first went into commentary, that was his peak.
Oh, yeah.
Just peak JBL commentary. This was it.
He was so
This
good.
would lead to it.
He was so good, bro.
We can go back and say that Bobby the Brain Heenan was one of the greatest heel fucking commentators because he gave everyone shit. Meanwhile, you got fucking JBL just ribbing on everyone in every situation, in every spot. It's just the best.
Yeah, it was fucking...
But anyway, continue.
It was insane. So yeah, Finlay knocked Hardy off the ladder. Finlay's head was bleeding above his eye. Like, he got cut open hard way too, somehow. Probably from a ladder spot, to be fair. And then, holy shit, I thought he fucking fucked up. He probably did fuck up his back from this. That's probably why he retired when he did, in like 2010. Finlay hits the Celtic Cross / White Noise on the mat, onto the ladder. Finley was selling injuries. Like, there was no selling. Motherfucker hit his spine right on the support beam of this fucking ladder. That sucked. God, that sucked. That looked like it. He couldn't actually fucking move. So, I think this was Hornswoggle's spot anyway, but I'm not convinced that Finley would have been able to climb up that ladder any fucking way. So, Finley knocked Hardy off the ladder. Oh, no, hold on. So, yeah. So he did that. That was the Celtic fucking cross, which was also a brutal spot. Then Hornswoggle comes out from the ring. Hornswoggle nearly made it to the top. And Finley's fucking encouraging him to climb, and fucking so is JBL. He's going nuts for this. He's like marking out at this point. Kennedy climbed up besides Hornswoggle. So Hornswoggle slapped Kennedy in the face 2 times. Actually, I don't even think he slapped him. Did he slap him, or was it fucking punches? I swear he punched him in the face 2 times.
I don't know, but all I know is that when Hornswoggle tried to reach the briefcase, but he couldn't, I know that Taz was just sitting there in commentary going, that's why well, Styles, that's why I don't do ladder matches.
Yeah, it says it right here. That's why I never did a ladder match, Styles. I was too short.
Too short, Cole.
Bro, I couldn't believe he said that. And so Hornswoggle slapped Kennedy in the face 2 times. I swear it was punches. When Cole mentioned that Hornswoggle was too short to reach the briefcase, Taz said, yeah, that line. So he was making fun of his own height issues. Kennedy gives Hornswoggle the Green Bay plunge off the fucking top of the ladder. That was fun and drew a big pop. Beating up little people is always entertaining. Is what this guy writes next. Hey, what was it that Eugene said? Go ahead. No, that wasn't JBL.
JBL said that, but
no.
The fact that this dude said in this review, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking dude. What was it that fucking Eugene said at WrestleMania 21? Midgets are awesome. Finley hits Kennedy in the face with the ladder. Punk hits a springboard dropkick to knock Finley off the ladder. Holy shit, what a fucking spot here. Punk climbed the ladder and he got so close. Kennedy caught up to him at the top of the ladder. They exchanged punches and Punk shoved him off, but Kennedy grabbed another ladder and hit Punk directly in the face with it. What a spot. Kennedy climbed up, grabbed the briefcase to win the match at 1911. Holy shit.
And what a push this man would get until it was abruptly cut. This was the shining moment of Mr. Kennedy's achievement in WWE,
which
he debuted last year.
Which sucked because he should have had more. Sucked. He should have had so much more, dude. Oh my gosh. But yeah.
After the match, he would be interviewed on his success with the Money in the Bank, and you could see that he's trying so hard to say, thank God I'm an asshole, but of course, WWE being WWE, you can't say asshole, so he's just saying, thank God I won this briefcase, and nice guys always finish last. And what a moment for Mr. Kennedy here.
Yeah.
Of that one silver lining that he could finally be the champion, that completely trumps his rookie push from when he debuted the year prior. But of course, 2 weeks later, due to a minor injury, he would be forced to drop the briefcase to Edge. And
that sucked because it turned out it wasn't as serious as they thought anyway. And by that point, the damage was done. And it sucked, man. I wish they fucking held off and didn't jump the gun like they did. But yeah. What a fucking match. This match fucking... Dude, this kicks so much ass. Out of all the matches, and I've watched every single Money in the Bank match at Mania, from 21 all the way up to 26. This is the top one. This is the best one. You're not going to find another Money in the Bank match this good. And that's crazy because, I feel like while the Shelton appearances were great, he was always the highlight, where everybody was the fucking highlight in this match. Everybody fucking delivered. Now, don't get me wrong, the highlight of the match will always be Hardy's leg drop. But holy shit, dude. Like, everybody just put their bump card to the max and just made this match so great, man. This guy gives it 4 stars. I give it 4.5. This is easily the best.
Too. I give it 4.5 too.
Dude, this match was the best Money in the Bank match they ever did at Mania, period, bar none. Nothing comes close to this.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
It was, honestly, it was just stupendous. It's like the first match I've ever watched in a WWE product, in a WrestleMania product. Having it to be this match, yeah, it really opened my eyes to the possibilities of what action can further lead to. Like, this was an amazing starting point to what I would eventually see there and later in the company. And I honestly wish that Mr. Kennedy achieved more than what he got after he won that belt. Because, after he dropped the belt, the briefcase to Edge, he would be in the storyline where he was Mr. McMahon's illegitimate son.
He was supposed to be, and then then he got the hornswoggle, and then he just never recovered after that. It was done. Like, he honestly, and I have considered, like, heavily because of this fucking shit, like, bringing Anderson into WIW solely because he was so beyond fucked royally. Like, he was so cursed. Like, any momentum he would get, immediately pulled out from under him, whatever the fuck it was, right? I always thought the whole steroid excuse was fucking bogus. Like, give him a fucking slap on the wrist and then, like, fucking really enact your policy. The problem was they didn't want to do that because they needed to make an example out of somebody because Benoit did what he did. And so they were like, oh, fuck you, Kennedy, you're suspended for 6 months. And then he came back, and then he kept injuring people, quote unquote.
He came back and was involved in a match with Orton, and Orton complained that he injured him, even though he was fine.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, and he blew a gasket. Wouldn't be the first time. Hi, Kofi Kingston. And then, he would go to TNA where he actually was a world champion, but sadly in a really fucking shittily run promotion.
To quote JFK from Clone High, nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Just imagine this is Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton.
Oh my god, Mr. Kennedy. Even though, I vaguely understood the difference between babyface and heel. As a heel, I enjoyed him. Like, he was just that good. He won me over as a heel.
Dude, he's so good on the mic, too. One of the most underrated mic talkers in the history of the sport. And the problem is, he was holding back in the E. Like, he had great promos in TNA. Like, all-timer promos in TNA, even though it was so shittily run. Like, his promo against Angle was fucking stellar. His promo, his segment of the funeral of Aces and Eights, the funeral of the Aces and Eights, fucking so good. He just takes the piss the whole time. Like, there are great moments of brilliance for Anderson in his career, but yeah, man, like, he should have just been given the fucking world, and instead he was just cursed from the word go. And it just, it hurts. Like, you hate to see it, bro. You really do, because he was a star on the rise. He was really a star on the rise.
Oh, absolutely.
But anyway,
we wish him luck wherever he went.
Yeah, I think we've done a career retrospective on everybody in this match. But you know what? I'm gonna do a funny, because
oh boy,
why the fuck not? Hold on, ready? Call Owen Finch. Ready? We're gonna ask him if we've done a career retrospective, just one by one. Ready? Here we go.
Owen Finch. At the tone. Please.
Never mind.
What? It was just like the voicemail.
Right to voicemail.
Fuck. The one time.
No, this would have been hilarious. Hold on, let me try Facebook. Let me try Facebook. Hold on.
Boy.
I'm gonna try.
Let's see.
All right, here we go. We're gonna try Facebook now. Owen Finch. I did not dox him. Shut up. All right,
Birds of a feather flock together.
Why did you say it in JFK? Birds of a feather flock together. Vote Birdman.
I feel like the more I hear Owen, I just hear a little bit of JFK in his voice.
A little bit, yeah.
Birds of a feather flock together.
I'm more like
And
Quimby. More like Mayor Quimby from The Simpsons.
Fair.
All right, let's see. I'm calling him. Here we go.
Oh boy. Watching with bated breath.
Hold on.
Well, while we're here, James, how was your day?
It was pretty shit, honestly. I'll talk to you about it after. Oh, fucking hell. Come on. Really? Alright, well, I'm gonna just...
I summoned the powers of Owen!
Yeah.
Owen! Come to me!
Hey, Owen. I need to ask a question, and you need to leave it in a voicemail, because I'm live for the WrestleMania 23 Retro, okay? So I'm going to ask you this one question. In the Money in the Bank ladder match, did we do career retrospectives on every single participant in that match? If so, I think we're good, but I'm just double checking to make sure. Okay, thanks, bye. Okay, we're good. So hopefully he'll send an audio message, and then we can play it on the air.
I bet you he'll send an audio message like when we're talking about the main event.
Yeah, right? That would be fucking hilarious. That's the best time. Okay, so afterwards, they show a highlight of a movie premiere of Steve Austin's movie The Condemned. It was Austin's first movie. I don't think I ever watched it, this guy says. Oh, wow. Alright.
Yikes, okay.
You know what's
well, let's be fair. With WWE wrestler to movies, let's be honest, how many of those have we ever seen?
Not many. I can't say other than the Marine. I will say though, I have heard good things about The Condemned. I did hear great things about it. I think Austin was the villain in that movie, believe it or not. I think that was the movie where he was the villain. So there it is. Although, you know what I definitely want to see? Because I've never actually seen these movies. I want to check out The Expendables. Because, holy shit, the fucking who's who cast there. Like, from wrestling, to boxing, to MMA, to Hollywood itself. Like, holy shit.
I would probably check out the first one, because the second one just kind of
yeah,
way too many characters.
Yeah, I heard the second one was...
Except
they basically Fast and Furious it, from what I heard.
I know that the second one has Chuck Norris, and I feel like, yeah, if you have to watch a sequel, you have to watch Expendables 2 because of Chuck Norris. It's law.
Yeah,
I don't make the rules.
It's law. I mean, you're right. But yeah, so there we go. So yeah, backstage, Todd Grisham, who is now doing, and I'm not making this up. I wish I was. You want a career retrospective on Todd Grisham? Todd Grisham started working for ESPN and basically does a bunch of sport gigs now. One of which being the Misfits Boxing League, commentating as play-by-play with True Geordie and Killer Keemstar. I am not making that up. That's real. That's what that's where Todd Grisham is doing nowadays. He went from interviewing wrestlers, high-profile wrestlers, to now working with a scumbag who doxes people. Boy, how the mighty have fallen. He's interviewing Mr. Kennedy, who luckily only kayfabe played an asshole, and not actually working with one here. He would later. Who thanked himself for winning the briefcase. In fact, Todd tried to congratulate him, and he goes, blah, 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 blah! Like, Jesus, alright, buddy. First of all, I'd like to congratulate myself for winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I want it to be known, it doesn't matter if you're an ECW star, a SmackDown star, or a Raw star, because when you see me, thank God, I'm Mr. Money in the Bank! Bang!
You knew he was trying so hard
He
to
was
say
trying
asshole,
so
but again,
hard
he was just-
try not to say asshole. Why did he go with ass clown? Still Jericho's stick. He wasn't in the company.
Come on.
I don't know.
Look, man.
There you go. But yeah, that was a great fucking interview. What a promo Kennedy was all the time. Then all grown up video about Batista. He was all grown up, and how, like, can we answer, like, why did they choose, like, the scrawniest motherfucking kid to play Batista? Like, he looked, bro, the motherfucker looked malnourished. Like,
The scrawniest kid,
like,
wearing adult elbow pads,
I don't,
struggling to climb up the second rope, holding a giant
killed me!
fucking belt
It
that
killed
can't
me!
get over his head.
Yeah! he barely fucking made it up to the second rope. It's so fucking unbelievable. Like, holy shit.
I'm watching this kid and thinking, oh my god, is he gonna fall backwards the minute he raises that
Bro,
belt?
they
I'm just like,
cut away right away. They cut away in the worst edit job possible to Batista actually doing it correctly. Like, you knew the kid fell. You knew the kid fell on his ass. Like, what the fuck, dude? Bro, WrestleMania 21 video packages, this was not. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm just imagining, like, again, 9-year-old me looking at this and thinking, wow, Batista as a kid really fucked up on climbing. Wow.
Bro must have sucked at climbing up trees.
You put your left foot in.
And put your left foot out. Climbs the
This
ropes
is the
like
fucking
that.
scene from The Lion King when fucking Mufasa's climbing on the fucking
Like,
stone wall.
why didn't they just have the kid climb the bottom rope, like, and then climb the next rope?
Why couldn't they given him a box to just fucking
Yeah!
hornswoggle step ladder?
Yeah,
Couldn't have-
oh my god, that's what they should have done. They didn't have the prop because they had to save it for the fucking Money in the Bank match. So you had to fucking improvise. Poor kid.
That kid never had the makings of a varsity athlete.
No, maybe he did. And you know what's funny? We're probably saying that now, and he's probably some fucking, like, MMA fighter nowadays that could probably... It's probably like Sugar Sean O'Malley, just kick our fucking heads off.
You know what? While we're at this, James, can you send a message to Owen asking him, hey, Owen, can you do a career retrospective of what the kids who portrayed in the all-out or in the all-grown-up vignettes are now?
Hey, Owen, can you please, also, while you're looking up the Money in the Bank participants, can you give us some career retrospectives on the kids that portrayed the wrestlers? Specifically, the Batista kid who almost fell on his ass climbing the turnbuckle, and the Stone Cold kid who poured milk in his fucking eyes. Thanks. Alright, bye.
Owen's probably gonna look back at his phone and go, what the fuck is this?
It's sent. Alright, so yeah, that was something, bro. Dude, you know what's sad? None of these are any less cringy. They keep getting cringier all the way up until the Stone Cold one. Like, it gets worse as this goes on. It gets worse. But
speaking of which, the one thing we left out on is that, yeah, they had individual kids portraying as the wrestlers, yet for the divas, they just clumped together.
Oh my god, yeah! Dude, holy sexism on a cracker! Like, I couldn't believe it! Like, what the fuck? Are you saying that all women are the same, Vince? Really? Like, what the fuck was this?
Vince McMahon will give love to ECW on WrestleMania 23, but yeah, still, fuck the women.
Fuck the women. By the way, I love how they're using children, and one of the adjectives that they describe themselves as they're grown up is sexy. Yeah, that's not fucking weird or anything. Like, dude, Ixnay on the edophilia pay.
The XX.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh boy!
I know we were talking about wrestlers gone to DVD. There was this one wrestler who went to this one DVD that managed to get a sequel. See No Evil. The next match stars See No Evil star Glenn Jacobs going up against how Brian Zane called him, the Great Khaki. Not even fucking with you.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's how you dress.
I should have expected it. You know what the fucked up part is? I think he's wearing black khakis.
Yeah.
He's wearing black khakis, so he's the Great Khaki. It makes sense. Okay. I don't even know what the fuck this, I don't even know what to say about this, but yeah, let's just talk about this match here. The Great Khali made his entrance for a match on his own. There was no manager with him at this point, and there wasn't much of a reaction. Kane was the opponent, and this was during his no mask days with Kane in a face roll, aka the worst version of Kane.
I mean, I like the no mask thing for Kane. It's just that I wish they gave him like more makeup to, you know, identify his burn scars instead of just giving him that one fucking glass eye. But the one thing I will point out about this match, on the DVD, this is the second match of the pay-per-view. On the WWE Network, it's the dark match. It's the match after the main event. You want to know why that change was made?
Wait, I'm sorry. Repeat that?
So, on the DVD, the match between Kane and Great Khali was the second match, like literally after Money in the Bank. That's on the DVD.
Right.
On the WWE Network, this match was moved from the second match of the card to the dark match. You want to know why?
Go ahead.
WWE saw Brian Zane's video on worst WrestleMania matches, and he ranked this one at number 1 as the worst WrestleMania match. So WWE was like, yeah, let's just put that and just stick it on the end there.
Right. Brian Zane made them take the match off the DVD?
And made it as the dark match on the network. It was so bad that they made that match a dark match following after the main event. Wow. And having to look back on this match, yeah, it was atrocious.
It was so bad. I mean, yeah, but like, wow. I'm shocked.
Like, we used the term sleeper matches where it was so good people slept on this match. No, it's a sleeper because watching this match put me to fucking sleep.
I went to bed by.
Like, that's how bad this match was.
Bro, I went to bed by. This was my alarm clock to go to fuck to bed. Fucking awful.
This is my ASMR of going to sleep just watching Great Khaki.
Indeed.
Fucking chop Kane.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just... I don't even know what to say about this. This guy actually has a breakdown, so I'll just read by this. Khali knocked Kane down early. Khaki threw Kane out to the floor. Khaki threw a punch that Khaki didn't know how to sell. So Khaki gave him a clothesline. And then the weakest body slam ever, even though JR said it was delivered with great authority.
Like, Khali, I know that you were great in New Japan
He's
here.
so
I know
good.
that you are a monster, but for fuck's sake, fucking sell.
Yeah, he was done. So what? I still don't know. I know it was because of a natural disaster that he got fucked up. I'm pretty sure it was an earthquake that fucked his mobility up. And boy, did it ever, because it fucking showed. He don't even have his faculties together to be able to fucking sell anything. I do feel bad for him in one sense, but oh my god, it's just so bad it's funny. Anyway.
JR said on commentary, I think this guy wrote in his notes, this is
bowling shoe ugly.
I think he said bowling ball shoe ugly, which to translate Mr. Jim Ross, this show sucks, Shen.
Yeah, this match sucks, son. God bless JR for always trying to put the crappy workers over. Yeah, he's not doing that no more. Khali applied a vice grip and then a choke in the corner. Kane came back with punches in the corner and followed up with a clothesline. Khaki was still up, so Kane climbed to the top and hit a clothesline. Khaki didn't go down. Kane booted him. Khaki tried to tie him up on the ropes. It was the Andre the Giant move, where he gets tied up so the opponent can't attack him. Kane then went under the ring, grabbed the chain. See no evil chain.
See no evil.
While the ref freed Khali. Khali won a punch fest with his big chop to the head. Crowd did a good job of reacting to him. I didn't hear much of a reaction, but I guess so. Maybe. I don't know.
The power of miking up the crowd sounds.
Exactly. Khali, or Khaki, as we will refer to him now going forward, ripped the turnbuckle pad off. The ref was
That actually looked cool.
That was pretty cool. The ref was cleaning the turnbuckle padding. So Kane used the chain to hit Khaki in the nuts. Right in the khakis, actually. Kane gave Khali a body slam to a good pop. To be fair, as bad as this match was, I see what they were going for here with this match. All this really was a, shades of WrestleMania 3 spot, which even JR said on commentary, as this guy pointed out, like, shades of WrestleMania 3. Obviously, that's what the spot was. Which I'm like, alright, fine, fuck it, sure. And then this guy says, I guess so, but not really.
No.
Not even close.
Basically,
he's saying Hogan, in other words, Hogan and Andre could wrestle before Andre couldn't really. And at least there were bigger stars. This is a nothing match for a nothing spot. So I think that's what he's saying there in that little sentence. I guess so, but not really. Kane covered for 2, but Khaki powered out of the pin. Kane grabbed by the throat. Then he hit a punch and bounced off the ropes right back into the arms of Khali. And Khali, or Khaki, gave Kane the double choke tree slam. And covered with his foot on Kane's chest for the victory at 5:32. I'm curious on what this guy has written about this. So, winner by pinfall, the Great Khaki. He says, dud! In all caps. Dud! It's just
pretty much
full-on dud. He says, this match sucked from the moment the bell rang, and I don't think anybody was going to be able to get a good match against Khaki at this point. At least it was short. Khali was put over huge whether we liked it or not. Post-match, Khali choked Kane with the chain again. Then he left. Thank you for leaving.
Thank you. Fuck you.
Bye. Yeah. All credit to Jim Cornette because I don't want to get sued. But yeah, fucking hell. Oh my god.
I give this match half a star. I mean, yeah,
dude,
it was.
I give it 0 stars. I can't rate this match. It was bad. But
I mean, I'm only rating it half the stars because of that spot where Khali rips open the turnbuckle padding and just shit flies everywhere. I thought that, as a kid, I thought that looked
cool. So yeah, okay, by childlike bias, fair enough. I hated
childlike bias. That's pretty much what my review of this
I
is.
thought Khali.
Bias.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought Khali was shit back then as a kid. I still think he sucks now. So my kayfabe,
Wow, that's a hot take.
my kayfabe autistic brain hated it, and my outside of kayfabe autistic brain says, yeah, he still sucks. So there isn't really much.
Unless you watch them
much
in
of a difference.
Japan, then he doesn't.
Yeah, then you realize he was actually great before the fucking earthquake.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, here's then there was an all grown up video about divas. We're not gonna fucking revisit that shit again. And then all of a sudden, we just get a fucking random dance party, and you know what? I fucking loved this shit. I don't know what it was, but I loved this shit. It was fucking.
So
it should have worked, but it worked.
So it starts off with Eugene, moaning and crying because his head gets shaven. Then he gets comforted by Crime Time, which, curiously enough, I did not know Crime Time existed during this part. I thought it was just some random dudes, but nah, God, seeing Crime Time this early in the company, it kind of warmed my heart a bit. So they are trying to cheer up Eugene. So they brought in some dancing girls to cheer him up.
Yeah, the Extreme Expose girls, specifically Kelly, Trinity, and Layla. So that's what that was.
Eugene took notice of it, but he wasn't impressed.
Yeah, he just kept biting his thumb. But real quick, before you get to that, right? So, again, I just realized more ECW representation with Extreme Expose. The fucking dancers that Eugene was like, Dude, they're all over the show. It's actually crazy. But yeah, go on. Then until he's not impressed with them, but then
he's not impressed with them until he sees, and I can't believe I'm uttering this into words. It makes me want to vomit. Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah in bikinis dancing around Eugene, and he looks at it like, I like it. And before you know it, everyone, the ECW guys, Pat Patterson lurking in the corner, Briscoe.
Here's the full list. Then Reverend Slick comes in. Then Dusty Rhodes shows up. Then others showed up. The others showed up were Sergeant Slaughter, Jimmy Hart, IRS. At least the camera was on. Brooke Adams a lot. Gorgeous woman. She was gorgeous. Brooke Tessmacher. Mm-hmm. Ricky Steamboat showed up too. To wrap it up, Ron Simmons arrived with his damn catchphrase. I don't know why. I don't know why he said damn. This is fun. Ron left, so they kept dancing. This became a typical thing at WrestleMania events where WWE would do silly backstage segments to get a cameo appearances. I was mildly entertained by it. I was very entertained by that. You know what? I was very sports entertained. Good on you, Legends and Crime Time and Eugene and Extreme Expose and Mae Young and Moolah can fuck off.
Moolah can die. Oh wait, she did.
She did. Thank God. Not a moment too soon. Sorry. I don't like people who utilize their women as prostitutes. Not a fan of that. But anyway.
Not a fan.
Anyway, but yeah, fun
good
segment.
Time is all.
I enjoyed. Thumbs up for this segment. I had a great time. It was good. The U.S. title match from SmackDown was up next. Montel Vontavious Porter was the first, as the challengers with some cheerleaders joining him for the entrance since MVP had the gimmick of a professional athlete that was cocky. So yeah, now we get the United States title. Chris Benoit versus MVP. Chris Benoit's last WrestleMania match ever.
Before his last WrestleMania, and then which would lead to the tragedy 2 months later. I will say, this last feud he had with MVP, what a clinic.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed the feud between him and MVP. Like, MVP pretty much gave it his all, and he even credited Benoit for getting him to this point of being a technical wrestler, because if you had any other wrestler like go up with MVP, I don't think MVP would have like surmounted to where he was at.
Yeah.
In the 2 months that after Benoit dropped the title to him. Like, he put his working boots and he caught up with Benoit during that whole exchange.
Just to put this in perspective, I know a lot of people hate on fucking Benoit for what he did, and rightfully so, right? But I love how you have plebs on social media like Jordan fucking Grace who say that Benoit, if he was alive today, couldn't hang with the current generation of talent today. And I understand the sentiment that she was trying to give, that we shouldn't be glorifying a murderer. We're not glorifying a murderer. But you can't just ignore the fucking truth. And you can't just be so ignorant to the truth. You can't. He was one of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots. Ever. I'm not saying that you glorify what he did, but you can't deny how great he was in the ring. Like, you just can't.
Absolutely.
Like, this motherfucker carried JBL to a 4-star match. That takes some doing. And this wasn't even a cage match. This was just a regular one-on-one. He carried him to a 4-star match. That's not fucking easy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially during that time. Because JBL had a bad back and everything, and he did not know how to work a fucking main event match for the life of him. So the fact that Benoit was able to get something out of him, that takes some serious fucking IQ wrestling-wise. There was nobody better than Benoit when it came to psychology, when it came to in-ring work.
And, like, as a kid watching it, I mean, I was way too young to understand what had happened until, like, a year later. That's when my whole perspective on wrestling just kind of changed, and I just stopped watching because of it. But just watching Benoit at such a young age being that athletically gifted, to the point where if you're, like, coming in as a cocky wrestler thinking that you know your shit, and when you're paired up with Benoit and he takes you down lightning quick, and you're standing there, you're thinking to yourself, oh shit, I gotta change the way I fight. I can't fight the way I'm fighting like I've always been trained. I gotta step up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Benoit made everybody step
like
up.
Guerrero.
Yeah. Like, everybody that ever came in contact with Benoit always stepped up their game when they were fighting Benoit. They had to. Otherwise, he would run circles around them because the motherfucker could have been in the Olympics. Angle said it himself. Like, this guy would run circles around Angle. An Olympian. Dude was fucking unbelievable.
One with a broken neck.
Yeah. Like, this guy is unbelievable. You can't take that away from him. That said, what he did was unforgivable, and I don't glorify him, and he never should ever be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But prior to that night, you cannot deny how great he was in the ring. You can't. Now, it is fucked, because as I see him coming down to the ring, you could just see the lifeless eyes already. And that, in and of itself, is like, oh man, he's already too far gone by this point. That was fucked. Like, you look at him, and he's
2 years.
He's already got post-concussion syndrome. You can tell by the fucking bags under his eyes. He's barely fucking there. I don't even think he realizes he was at WrestleMania to this day in Detroit. I'm still convinced he doesn't even realize he was where he was at that day. He definitely didn't know where the fuck he was at 2 pay-per-views after this.
Oh, definitely. And, like, the 2 years after Eddie's death, he was pretty much gone. Like, he was like a switch. Before coming down, he was an emotional wreck, a hermit. But the minute he walks down that ring, gets in that ring, that switch is turned on, he's professional mode.
Yeah, and that was the only thing.
This shouldn't have happened to begin with, but...
Yeah, that was the thing. He didn't know any other way. He was dead, not wrestling. When he came down, he looked like Dean Malenko. All respect to Dean, but they did because Dean should have been that way. That was his whole gimmick anyway. But he looked like Dean Malenko here coming down to the ring, lifeless,
Yeah.
full on serious, was there to conduct business. The minute the bell rang, the mode switched on, and all he could be was a professional wrestler. He didn't even have any of the fucking personality he had in 2004 and 2005. None of it. Had none of it.
Nope.
He
After
was
Eddie,
he was
it's
gone.
just, it really fucked.
Yeah, like dude, Eddie Guerrero passing, I think psychologically killed Benoit. I don't think he was ever the same, and I think he just kept wrestling and wrestling and wrestling and wrestling, and never took time off to ever recover. And I think with his head not being in it and always just working his ass off just to cope with the pain, he injured himself a lot during this time, and that's what I think ultimately killed Benoit. I mean, the autopsy shows it all. Like when you look at what Chris Nowinski found in his fucking brain. I mean, you know, a lot of people like say, yeah, he never should have done it, and he should have fucking thought about it. But I mean, it's really hard to know what you're doing in the moment when you have the brain of an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient. That's so fucked. That's so fucked. Like,
Yep.
that's why the wellness policy is where it's at now. Because, like, if the Benoit tragedy didn't happen, I don't know if anybody would have gotten that fucking point. You know, and that's the sucky thing. It's like, it took tragedies to finally get that point across. Hell, it took forever for fucking the rest of the sports to catch up after the Benoit tragedy. Like, yeah, fucking NFL had a fucking wellness policy of their own, but it took fucking until Aaron Hernandez and his bullshit until they fucking finally caught up with that fucking shit. Like, this was going on sports-wide. Like, yeah, it is what it is, but I just want to get that.
And in my opinion, and my last point on this, when Benoit tragedy happened, when this death happened, it marked the death, in my opinion, of the ruthless aggression era.
Yeah.
That was just like this WrestleMania proved to be like the last pure ruthless aggression era of a style of WWE you will ever get.
Yeah.
Because 2 months after that,
yeah,
done.
Vince just was done and wanted nothing to do with that anymore. I mean, I'm still convinced. Had Linda not done her stupid campaign, I don't think Vince would have batted an eye. Like, I'm not saying he wouldn't have. I'm not saying he wouldn't have taken the wellness policy thing seriously. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. But I'm saying with the TV-14 aspect and the ruthless aggression era still being a thing, and now moving into the PG era, I'm convinced that he would have still continued on like nothing had ever happened. The only thing that stopped him from, you know, keeping it TV-14 and switching it PG was because of Linda's campaign. Because they kept dogging him and politically assassinating him for months and months and months and months after this shit. Just months. They were relentless. To the point where you had some of the who's who of absolute horrid journalism come out of the fucking woodwork. Which Jeff Meacham, Aaron Rift, Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez, like just about every journalist reamed them out for. Which is fucking ironic now, because look at the state of fucking IWC journalism nowadays. But, like, still, like, this was the sign of our country was going into shitter when it came to the media in this country. That was the fucking, like, definitive Exhibit A, was how they handled the Benoit tragedy. I've never seen such biased journalism in my life. It was like they treated Benoit's death like it was a sensationalist headline. It was so gross. I still think it's one of the grossest things that news media has ever done to this fucking day. But anyway.
And even as a kid, Even as a kid, when watching it, I'm like, I feel like the more I watched the program, even after what he had done, I felt like I would have like been supporting this. So
Yeah, because that's what the
why I
media,
just stopped
because the media made you feel that way, because the media, like, don't get me wrong, Vince deserves some of the fucking blame. Like, and don't get me wrong, because he definitely prescribed fucking steroids to Benoit. Let's not even fucking kid ourselves, even if it was a roundabout fucking way. But, you know, allegedly, I'll say. But, like, dude, he did not have anything to do with the CTE. Benoit just didn't say a fucking thing. That dude did not say a lick of anything about his problems. Not one. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. You know? That's what it comes down to. And Vince got fucking, you know, it's the only time I've ever defended Vince. He got so royally fucked by everybody in the media. And wrestling as a whole got fucked. Like, everybody in wrestling got screwed over by that. I don't think it's ever recovered since. It never recovered. You know? But it is what it is. That, you know, PG didn't really do much at the end of the day. But anyway, let's get to the match. I just wanted to get that out there because I don't know if we've ever gone that in depth with this. But
yeah, nah. I think this is like one of the first we've ever gotten in depth with, because we made it in passings, but we never really fully explained our thought process or our explanation for any of this. But
yeah, you and I were kids growing up when this shit happened. You and I were kids. Like, I was the same way as you. I stopped watching wrestling until, like, Mania 28. And I only did it because we finally got cable. And so I watched Raw for the first time. And it was the segment with Regal, Hunter, Cena, and Orton for the triple threat match for the title. But I didn't watch wrestling for the longest fucking time. Like, it just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it as a kid. Like, that fucked me up.
1 second, bro.
Yeah,
just continue.
Yeah, go for it. While Nikos does his thing, I'm just going to run down this match so that way it's done. They had some nice technical wrestling exchanges earlier. MVP countered a German suplex by throwing Benoit out to the floor. The action picked up in the ring when Benoit was going for a superplex, but MVP fought out of it and draped Benoit's left arm on the top rope. He focused his assault on Benoit's arm and shoulder through this point forward. JBL said Benoit deserved to be in the Hall of Fame one day. That will never happen. Yeah, unfortunately. At the time, JBL was right on the money, though. Then the tragedy happened. Benoit came back with the German suplexes, 3 German suplexes. He went for the diving headbutt, but MVP countered it, and MVP gave him a superplex from the top rope. MVP threw Benoit's left shoulder into the turnbuckle, followed by an armbar. The crowd was rallying behind Benoit. Benoit broke free, but MVP decked him with the big boot to the face for a count of 2. Benoit went for the crossface, but MVP punched his left arm to break it up. MVP gave him a body slam, and MVP followed it up with the ball-in elbow for a 2. MVP misses the running boot in the corner, the playmaker boot, the former name of the haluva kick. Benoit gave him 2 German suplexes. MVP fought out of it, but Benoit broke free, and then Benoit hit 3 more German suplexes for a total of 7 in this match. Benoit went to the top rope and hit the flying headbutt. Benoit covered, and that was enough for the win at 9:18. I'll read what this guy says about this match. He rates it 2.5 stars. I'll actually rate this 3 stars. I think it was a little bit above average. It was a decent little match for the U.S. title. Good match that was too short. With another 5 minutes, they could have done a lot more. I like the psychology with MVP working over the left arm and dominating the majority of the match. JBL did an awesome job putting over the idea that MVP could hang with Benoit, which was a good reason to have the match in the first place. I was surprised that Benoit won with the headbutt. He didn't usually win with that move very often. They would have rematches in the future that were better than this. And then he said, afterwards. I think he gives a little bit of an editation here. I remember being disappointed that this match was that this was a shorter match because I thought they should have had a 15-minute match. Benoit was a favorite wrestler of mine during this period, but it's hard to be excited about his matches considering the double murder-suicide he would have a few months later after this. So, all in all, perfect timing. Good match. I give it 3 stars. What do you give this match between MVP and Benoit?
I give this match a 4-star, which would eventually live into an outstanding feud between these two men. I feel like this starter match was a really good pave-way for MVP's rise with the United States Championship, because him coming in as like this cocky, athletic basketball-like player turned wrestler, I felt like it was a perfect fit for him.
There you go.
Yep.
Alright, so, with that said, then there was a grown-up video for The Undertaker. Oh boy. I gotta wait until you get back on muted for this, because, man, they keep getting worse.
For the life of me, I don't remember actually seeing the kid version of The Undertaker, because I can't remember if they actually portrayed
they did.
a kid
Yeah,
who's
they
the
did.
Undertaker. Like, because I to this day I can't remember it, but
Here,
yeah, they just did another whole fucking kid version of The Undertaker, which I honestly would have expected like an emo kid
version of The Undertaker WrestleMania 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. We're about to see. I know they definitely did this, right? It definitely had to have. Oh, what the fuck? Why did they make the WrestleMania 23 logo red? That's cursed. No, it's blue.
No.
Fuck that. It's not Raw. It's not Raw Mania 23, all right? It's WrestleMania 23 for a reason. Yeah, I don't see where it is. I know it happened though. It was okay. So yeah, but I remember it was the kid, and the kid had no signing of Paul Bearer whatsoever. No sign of him in the funeral home. He was just in the ring, and the kid's doing the Undertaker taunts. I'm like, dude, fucking try. Come on, man.
You couldn't have fucking kid Undertaker burning down the fucking funeral home that killed his parents in Kane. You couldn't have done that, but nah, you just had to do kid Undertaker just fucking posing in the ring.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. By the way, we follow that shit up with this horrid backstage segment. Backstage, Donald Trump was on the phone sitting beside the former Miss USA that was with him. Trump was complaining over the phone that Vince didn't make things nice for him. Suddenly, the boogeyman showed up behind the couch and Miss USA ran away. Trump wasn't scared. Trump told Boogeyman to get him some food. The mini Boogeyman was also there. Why?
Go get me some food, you little ugly red thing. Give me some sandwiches, please.
Trump sat there looking hungry, is the way he ends that whole paragraph. And then his analysis is, and I'm not even kidding, it's one sentence. This was an awful segment with some bad acting, but I guess some people, aka Vince, might have thought it was funny. Yeah.
I remember Boogeyman when he heard Trump say he wants some sandwiches. He's just like, "I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you."
Right afterwards. Yeah.
And then he wandered off, and then he complained, like, "Yeah, I'm not working with Trump again."
Yeah, I'm
because
like,
he didn't put me
what
over.
the
I'm like,
fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like, why are you getting him sandwiches? What the fuck? Why? He just says, I'm gonna get you some sandwiches right away. What the fuck? You're the Boogeyman.
It's probably the notion that the future God Emperor could have bought him.
But that's not a good thing. The man's black.
That's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing at all. That's not good.
Given the context.
No, he's black. That's bad. That means slavery. No. It's horrible.
Listen, I'm giving you this one chance. Give me some sandwiches, please.
Please.
Hold the worms.
Hold the words. Oh my god, yeah, he was...
Like, I think the whole reason, looking back now, the reason why Trump just didn't sell Boogeyman's fucking persona, it's probably his mentality of, this shit's fake, so I'm just not gonna bother.
I love that he was a fan of WrestleMania. He was a fan of wrestling, but, like, treated everything with nothing. Didn't even sell a fucking thing. Barely sold a fucking thing. God damn.
Fuck's sake, even John Cena sold the fucking Boogeyman when he first made his debut.
Yeah, because he went... Like, he actually gave a facial reaction. Trump was like, I'm hungry. Could you get me some fucking sandwiches? I'm hungry. Like, Vince is just one of the worst hosts I've ever had in my entire life. Can you get me some fucking sandwiches, Boogeyman? Please? And then he just fucking does it. I don't know. Whatever. It was dumb. This segment sucked. They then showed clips of the 2007 Hall of Fame ceremony. This year's inductees were the Wild Samoans, The Sheik, Nick Bockwinkel, Mr. Fuji, Jim Ross, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, Jerry the King Lawler, and Dusty Rose, baby. I like how Dusty busted out his line about how he had wined and dined with kings and queens, baby. Love that. Lillian...
The most memorable introduction of Dusty Rose. It's just like when I first saw the guy and like when I first heard him spoke, I'm like, oh, he sounds goated.
Yeah, he's so goated. So goated. Forever goated. By the way, it's hilarious because his son, now that we're talking about this, is going to be in the main event. And from the looks of the reports are going to be true, winning the title.
Even IGN
Holy
said,
shit.
yeah, we ran a simulation between Cody and Roman in 2K23. Yeah, Cody's winning. Why? Because fuck you, he's winning.
Yeah, so there you go. Lillian Garcia then announced the attendance at 80,103 people, which could always be totally exaggerated. Howard Finkel then introduced the 2007 Hall of Fame class. I already listed their names above. They made their ways to the stage. The biggest pop was for Ross, Lawler, and Rhodes, baby.
Yep.
A pre-match poll showed that 82% of fans voted The Undertaker to beat Batista, who only got 18% of the fucking vote. They really did not want Batista to win, and it showed in this arena. However, we will get to that match because I believe it is next. He says, by this point, The Undertaker streak was a very big deal, and fans knew he likely wasn't going to lose to Batista. The video package played to hype up Batista versus Undertaker for the World Heavyweight title. It was the first time Undertaker won the Royal Rumble in his entire career. That's a fuck statistic.
Now, here's something wild about the 2007 Royal Rumble, which we're going to come back to Cody in a second. Undertaker, well, actually first, the Royal Rumble took place in Austin, Texas. Undertaker came out number 30.
Won at number 30.
Won the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes.
Austin, Texas.
Came
won
out
at
number 30.
Yep. Yeah, he did.
You see a pattern here?
He's going to have a WrestleMania streak.
I sure do.
He's going to have a WrestleMania streak. Now that he's back. That's what you're saying?
I'm just saying, no, they're just going to win.
Fair enough. Okay.
Will it develop into a streak? I don't know.
Who knows? We'll see. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll see.
It was the first time Undertaker won the Royal Rumble. He picked Batista to be his opponent. They were both babyfaces. Batista was the face of SmackDown for about 2 years prior to this, and the main focus of the show when he was injured, anyway. Undertaker went into the match with his impressive WrestleMania streak, which was at 14-0 going into this match. SmackDown GM Teddy Long handling the introductions. Oh boy, I wonder why. Batista entered first. Huge reactions for him. JBL did a good job of putting over the idea that Batista could be the guy to end the streak. He was booked as such a strong champion that it wasn't a far-fetched idea to think that Batista could do it. Undertaker got his traditional entrance with the Druids bringing him out. His entrance, he said, took over 4 minutes. However, this could have taken 12 minutes and I wouldn't have given a damn because holy shit, bro. This is so based! He comes out, there's a light behind him, and he's walking down, and then the Druids are holding the flames, and it's so good!
I will point out 2 things. One, at the time, WrestleMania 23 had the largest set when it came to these 2 introductions, especially with Batista, because, God, that set was huge for him. And right. 2, like I said in the beginning of this video, the only reason why I watched or picked up WrestleMania 23 was to watch The Undertaker. And the fact that this entrance, his long-ass walk to the ring, with the light in the back where he's just in the silhouette walking with the cape and the hat. When I first saw this man, my idol as a kid, of all the kids who were talking about, this is what The Undertaker looks like, this is how he acts, seeing this dude in his entrance, in his iconic WrestleMania 23 entrance, I looked at him and said, yeah, that's the fucking Undertaker. Mm-hmm. How I envisioned him to look like.
He is so
and it was just perfect.
Bro.
It was better than, like, honestly, I wish I attended in Detroit because I feel like that experience would have been special. But seeing it on the TV, that would have been fine regardless. But man, seeing that iconic walk with the hat, the cape, and the dark silhouette, it was everything I had ever hoped for when I was first introduced to this character who's been in the company for, at the time, 3 decades.
Dude, it was so unbelievable. Like, like if you were exposed to The Undertaker and this was your first sight of him, this entrance is the best entrance of Undertaker. Like, I know he's had elaborate entrances in the past, but I mean, I always say they pale in comparison to what this what this entrance did. If you wanted to get a definitive Undertaker entrance, 23 is it, dude. Like, it's like the dark silhouette as he's coming out from the fucking entranceway with the Druids lining all the way up for him to come down and the flames bursting. Like, that's Undertaker. That's the Dead Man. That's who would be the World Heavyweight Champion. You know?
And
like,
especially with the Druids, because I've talked about this in the past that in the build-ups, in the run-up to WrestleMania 27, for one time, Undertaker used Johnny Cash's Ain't No Grave as his new theme, and I loved it because it fit. But the Druid chant intro to his theme was iconic.
So good.
Like,
so
God
good.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, Mike can say that the Ministry is his best theme, and yeah, it has a good beat because with the guitar, the metal sound, but the Druid chant, perfect. And, like, my whole reaction to just this setup of introducing the Dead Man mirrors the reaction to the kids who first saw him when Brother Love introduced him at Survivor Series. Yeah. That kid's reaction was my reaction when I first saw this man walk down.
You're scared,
like
you're terrified, but you're also like, yeah, this guy rules.
To look at this man's
yeah, that was me. That was me as a fucking kid, man. Like, I was scared of him. And I was like, and I saw him on SmackDown, so I'm like, I'm looking at what he was doing, I'm like, oh, he's a good guy. He beats the evildoers. Like, as a kid, that I always called them evildoers for some reason, because my tism was raging by that point.
He was beating up the evildoers while portraying as an evildoer.
Which is crazy. Like, I was like, he looks evil, but I'm glad he's on our side. That's what I said as a kid, because it was just like, fucking hell, you'd hate to have somebody like him against you, bro. Holy shit. Oh my god, it was great. Such a fucking iconic entrance. And this would lead to one of the most underrated world title matches in WrestleMania history. Honest to God, in my opinion. Because they came in with the fucking chip on their shoulder. Something fierce. So let's get right into it. He has some pre-match notes because he says Batista. Oh no, yeah. Batista was the babyface world heavyweight champion, and the Undertaker was the babyface challenger that earned the title match after winning the Royal Rumble in January. Batista started out dominating, knocking Undertaker to the floor with a clothesline, and then they brawled up to the aisle. Batista whipped Undertaker into the steel steps at ringside, which Undertaker sold by taking a bump right on his knees and flying over the steps. Holy shit, by the way, this bump looked gnarly. That bump, not many big guys could do. Batista went to the top rope with a shoulder block. Cole put over that he had never seen Batista do that before.
It was rare. Never done that before.
No. And it was a good shoulder block, too. Like, that looked like it had some force behind it, by the way. Clothesline by Batista gets two. Undertaker blocked by, a big boot to the face. Hit Batista with a barrage of punches. And they then exchanged blows with the crowd chanting along for each one. Boo, yay, boo, yay. Undertaker hits two corner splashes. The Snake Guy is in the corner. And then the boot to the face. Cole, during this commentary streak, by the way, says he never broke out old school that early. Never. Like, so they were really putting over that this was like Undertaker's toughest challenge to date here. He followed up with a leg drop for a 2. Undertaker hit the old school clothesline off the top rope to a standing ovation. Those were his moves of doom. Undertaker went for a chokeslam, but Batista used his power to counter it. Undertaker went for a clothesline that didn't connect very well. Loud Let's Go Taker chants. They didn't hate Batista, they just liked Undertaker more. Undertaker worked him over some more and hit a leg drop on the apron, vintage Undertaker, which sent Batista to the mat, onto the floor. Undertaker was in the ring, he ran the ropes and jumped over the top rope to do the Taker dive onto Batista. Wow, I love that move, he says. Taker nailed it perfectly with Batista there to catch him. I'll never get tired of seeing the Undertaker dive. They fought to the outside of the ring. Batista won the fight, which resulted in Undertaker getting thrown into the security wall. Batista rolls into the ring, breaks the count. Batista clears off 2 announcer tables. They were outside of the ring for about a minute, but I guess the ref didn't feel like counting. Batista put Undertaker on his shoulder, jumped off the first table, and gave him a running power slam through the announcer table, the Raw announcer table. Batista rolled back in, then the ref counted. Batista rolled Taker back in before the 10 count because he wanted to beat him in the ring, and Batista covered for 2. Batista went for the Batista bomb, but Undertaker countered it by driving him into the corner and hit a series of back elbows to the head. Batista hit a belly-to-belly slam for another 2. Awesome counter as Batista did a move he didn't usually do. Batista and Undertaker throw punches in the corner. Undertaker powered out and gave him the last ride powerbomb. Batista kicked out at 2. I was happy about that because they did that spot in Undertaker's matches far too often, and I'm glad it was only good for a near fall. Batista whipped Undertaker in and gave him a spine buster. Spine on the pine, baby. He powered up. Crowd began chanting Taker. Undertaker came back with a chokeslam for 2. Another great near fall. Batista came back with a spear. Batista bomb connects. 1, 2, no! That was the best near fall so far. Loud Taker chants. The crowd was really loud as Undertaker gave Batista a back body drop and gets out of the Batista bomb. Batista put him on his shoulders. Undertaker shoved him off. Batista went into the turnbuckle, and Batista bounced back into Undertaker's arms for the Tombstone Pile Driver by Taker to lead to the pinfall and the 1, 2, 3. Undertaker is 15-0 at WrestleMania, says Michael Cole. The match went for his 15-0 winning streak at 15:51. Irony. Winner by pinfall and new World Heavyweight Champion, The Undertaker. This man says, 4 stars. It was a very good match. I went above my personal expectations for it. Undertaker dominated early. Batista came back with some power offense, including that awesome power slam through the table. The finishing sequence was terrific with lots of believable near falls, which was the formula we've come to know in Undertaker matches over the years. The announcer team of Cole and JBL did a terrific job putting over all the power moves too. Yes, I praised Cole. He worked well with JBL. He also worked well with Taz. I don't want to say I forgot the match because I do remember how good it was, but rewatching it here made me appreciate it much more. They really worked their asses off and put on an impressive power match. There's nothing more you can ask out of the wrestlers to give it their all and see them deliver. Post-match, Undertaker celebrates his win. The crowd was popping for everything. The last time Undertaker won a world title at WrestleMania was 10 years earlier at WrestleMania 13 against Psycho Sid. Taker was still very popular with Detroit crowd as the pyro went off to end the celebration. Hopefully you get back here, Nikos, but to give my thoughts here on this fucking awesome match, this fucking clinic of a powerhouse struggle here. The match ruled. Match kicked ass. It was fucking outstanding. Absolutely loved it. Like they really played to their strengths here. Like Batista was power guy, and I by this point, you could argue that there really wasn't a standout Batista match. Undertaker was it, and his feud with Undertaker would be even more legendary as time went on. I remember as a kid, like, these two were the guys at SmackDown. They were the two top guys feuding for the title. It was a babyface blood feud. It's the only time I've ever seen a babyface blood feud in wrestling. Probably ever. And they just killed each other half the time. Any match they were in, they were busting their ass, beating the shit out of each other. You would always hear the all grown up WrestleMania fucking promo theme showcasing their entire feud. Feud was great. This match kicked the whole thing off. 4 stars. I agree with this guy. Like, it was outstanding. Like, it really over delivered, honestly, because I remember it being good as well, but I thought it was like 3.25, 3.5. Nah, man, they fucking put their working boots on, and you could tell they were pissed not being in the main event, as they fucking should have been, by the way. Because Taker, by the way,
I was just
won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you whether this match should have been on the main event, and yeah, honestly, with the balls to the walls action that this match had, and the fact that The Undertaker did win the Royal Rumble, which honestly negates the fact of if you win a Royal Rumble, then you could be in the main event. But no, that has to go to Cena and Shawn, but we'll get to that eventually. But I remember watching this match and thinking that it was my first introduction to The Undertaker's match at WrestleMania was so phenomenally well done that after looking at Undertaker's matches at WrestleMania, this match with Batista going forward, this is the start of his matches that for the streak that was good.
Yep.
I might argue that the one previously with Orton was okay because that actually
it was really good. It wasn't even just okay.
I'm the legend killer and I'm here to destroy the Undertaker's streak.
That was really good. That was a really good match. But that wasn't even the one before. You're thinking the one that was before was Henry in the casket match. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about
basically that. the one with Batista forward, when it came to the streak being such a dominant thing in the company as it is, from Batista forward, like it all started with this encounter with Batista. Everything before that was mediocre. From Snuka all the way to Henry, mediocre.
Yeah.
But where it started with Batista all the way up to Punk, those were his best matches.
Yeah.
When the feud mattered.
I hate to do this, but can you continue talking about this because my uncle's calling and I have to take this.
No, that's fine. Like, I remember purchasing the Undertaker DVD of his 20-0 streak, where they just kind of talk about every single one of his matches from when he first fought against Jimmy Snuka all the way up to his quote unquote last match with Triple H at WrestleMania 28, where I feel like you could have sneaked in his match with Punk in there, because after what we know now, that there was no initial bad feud with him and Punk, I feel like, yeah, they did work well together. I don't know what people were bitching and moaning about. But then again, that match at WrestleMania 29 was better. I liked that match. It's just a shame that they never added it to the DVD, but I'm willing to cap off and say, regardless, before Lesnar beat him at 30, from 23 to 29, that was when the streak gained traction. When he won his 15th victory against Batista. That is when, in my opinion, where the streak mattered. You could say that the whole thing when he fought Flair, when he was 10 for 10, leading up to a streak, but then again, his matches, when it started with Snuka, Bundy, Jake the Snake, Big Boss Man, all of it before Batista, not very special, not very memorable. But from here in this match, my introduction to The Undertaker with this match with Batista onward, perfect.
Yep.
Those were his perfect fights with opponents that not only wanted to defend their titles, but wanted to beat him for the streak, because that's how much of a traction the streak gained.
Yeah.
Getting 15-0 was a big deal. Like, hell, and even on the Undertaker 20-0 documentary, or the DVD, they said that the last time there was a sports streak, it involved the Oakland A's, when they had a 20-0 win streak at every ball game.
Yeah.
And since then, no sports league, anything, had ever come close to a 20-0 league. And that's when Undertaker came up and said, I got one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right here.
Exactly.
And like I said, I mean, many people have like differences between what he had, the feud he has with him and Punk or whatever, but his 21-0 fight,
Legendary.
that was a perfect cap off.
Yeah, legendary. Really, there was nobody better to freaking get him over, man. Like, and it's funny because, like, Undertaker's best time in his entire career was being a part of SmackDown. Like, even during his Big Evil days, like when he went from American Badass to Big Evil, his matches with Brock, his matches with Angle, his matches with Taker, or I'm sorry, himself. Listen to me. His matches, yeah, again. His matches with Batista, his matches with Edge, his matches with Hardy, his matches with Triple H. I remember the fucking awesome chamber finish that those two shared at No Way Out 08. Fucking just so many great matches, all things considered, man. Like, he busted his ass. He really busted his ass. Making SmackDown the show. And he was the guy. You know, like, a lot of people say it's Batista. He was the face of SmackDown. I argue it's Taker. I argue Taker from 03 onwards was the definitive babyface of SmackDown. Like, you knew you were on SmackDown when The Undertaker showed up with the blue lights and the little rise up and the eyes roll back of his head. You knew you were watching SmackDown. He was the Atlas of the company. He was. Like, and
he carried everything.
I love, like, watching Taker, because Taker would evolve also over time with SmackDown, and I remember he would have like one more world championship in '09, and like I will never forget this for as long as I live, because everybody says that, you know, Undertaker is, you know, one of the greatest of all time, and the entrance is something to behold live, despite how long it is. Dude, seriously, being live in that arena for the Decade of SmackDown celebration to see World Heavyweight Champion Undertaker, I will never forget that. Like, there's pictures of it all over on my Facebook page. Like, I love that memory. Like, I just had a birthday. That was my birthday present, was going to SmackDown. And it was incredible. Like, I got to see Batista, who I was a fan of. I got to see Undertaker. I got to see Ray. I got to see Punk. I got to see the DX. I got to see Orton and Legacy. I got to see all my favorites. You know, all my fucking favorites in like one show. One set of tapings. It was so cool. But Taker was like, that's the highlight for me, was seeing Taker with a big gold belt walking down to the ring with flames shooting up. Like, never gonna be another man like The Undertaker at all.
Nope.
Never gonna be another man like Mark Calloway.
That was his first title win at WrestleMania since 13 when he fought against Sid.
Yep, I mentioned that. I mentioned that in the breakdown, yeah. It's fucking unbelievable. But yeah, this guy also says, since we're reading off this TJR Wrestling article, I enjoyed this match a lot, and I think it's might be underrated by some fans. A lot of fans, not just some. They had several great matches after this with stipulations involved. The more they worked, the better their chemistry became. Their last man standing match at Backlash '07 was slightly better than this one. From this moment forward, Undertaker went on to have a great run of having awesome WrestleMania matches for nearly a decade. And then we go from there to another vignette for All Grown Up. This one, Bobby Lashley. Well, so the kid is playing Bobby Lashley as a little youngster. Again, malnourished, but slightly more muscular, so okay, I'll give it a pass. So,
where did they find these kids?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like, dude. Like, if they were legit bodybuilder kids, I always thought bodybuilder kids was such a bad thing anyway, because this is the result. They just don't look healthy. But anyway, I digress. So the kid does a fucking vertical leap. And he's trying to grab the second rope. And he almost falls on his ass here too. Because he's too short to grab the second rope, so they had to cut camera again to Bobby Lashley doing it just to salvage it. Why did they do this shit, man? Why?
Imagine him in a ladder match. Oh god.
Yeah, dude, they should have just had all these grown-up kids fight Hornswoggle in a mini Money in the Bank step ladder match. That would have been phenomenal. Put that in the pre-show.
That would be chaotic, let's be real.
Yeah,
Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
And not as chaotic as the WrestleMania 10 retro. And there it goes. All right.
Hey.
Anyway, analysis. Another failed attempt at... Oh, wait. Oh, this is the analysis. Hold on. I'm going to read the analysis. And then we're going to read the segment. Analysis states, another failed attempt at comedy. I'm sure Vince thought it was funny. So that's all that matters to him. Let's get on to what the segment was, shall we? It was time to head backstage to the locker room where Vince McMahon was admiring himself in the mirror. Thankfully, he was fully clothed and not putting baby oil on himself. Stephanie McMahon showed up with her daughter in a stroller with Vince McMahon angry at first. But then he was okay with it. Vince was talking to the baby. Vince was telling the baby that he would bash Trump's head in, like a Goo Goo Gaga style. And we got a camera shot from inside the stroller.
A baby POV shot.
Yeah, because, when I think of babies, I think of them being, stationary. Who the fuck's buying this shit? The hell? Yeah, because a baby's gonna be, I'll tell you the only time a baby's ever gonna be fucking stationary. When it's napping in the stroller. That's it. Otherwise, why is it stationary? That fucking POV is going... Like, here.
And little did I know then when I was watching this was during the Vince McMahon...
Here's what the POV shot should have looked like. That's what it should have looked like. Instead,
one drunk ass baby.
It's like this. Actually, no, because I'm still moving it slightly. Ready? I'll put it near a cup. That's it. That's what it was like. So imagine my hand is Vince, and he's looking at the baby like this, and his baby's just standing still. That's what this was. It was so painstakingly obvious that this was a skit, and they didn't even bother trying. Like, they didn't even bother trying. They must have thought at this point the audience was dumb as rocks. They had to have.
They surely fooled me, and not just because of that. I didn't know that during this time, Vince McMahon would be doing the incest storyline where he says, "It's my daughter."
Oh my god, no. What if this was the start of that bullshit? Oh no.
Like, I'm just looking at this thinking, oh, that's cute. His daughter is showing off.
Is that why he was angry at first? Oh no. Oh no, that's why he did it at first. Oh, he didn't even clear it with his own daughter and fucking son-in-law? He started it premature before they even wrote down the plans? Oh my god!
Vince, you need therapy.
No shit!
In fact, if he just taken therapy, I don't think WWE could have existed.
You know what? Fair enough. Honestly, fair enough.
So he's talking to this baby, and all of a sudden, he starts sniffing, and then he has a sour face.
Oh my god, yeah.
He looks at Stephanie.
Not even just that. He goes... Vince is talking to the baby. Vince is saying he would bash Trump's head in. We get a camera shot from the stroller. Vince said he'll give Trump a skull fracture with Steph trying to calm him down. And he says skull fracture like that's a normal thing for a baby to hear, by the way. Vince asked if Steph, if she smelled that. Vince told Stephanie that it smells like his granddaughter took a Trump. Which meant the shit. In case you couldn't tell. This was the way they built up to the Battle of the Millionaires. Which, by the way, was the thing that sold this pay-per-view. If you were to see these segments, you would have thought this sucked.
One thing before we move on, before Vince was talking to Camera Baby, he was admiring photos of Donald Trump in different wigs and hairstyles. Like, there was one where Donald Trump has fucking Rastafarian hair, a portrait of Trump when he has a mohawk.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Like, oh my god.
It wasn't good.
This is what sold the pay-per-view.
And you would have thought that if you saw this, you thought the feud sucked. And I'm sure it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't this bad. But you see these, and it was the worst feud of all time.
Yeah, looking back now, it
You would have
was.
thought this sucked assholes so bad. Like, what the fuck were these saying? The Donald Trump thing I thought was bad, and then that one happened, and I'm just like, this shit stinks. Anyway, so then we get to this, right? The only person... so, before we even get to this ECW match, actually, because Owen did comment in the chat, you bastard, I told you to leave a voicemail. It would have been funny. He said, the only person we haven't done a retrospective on is Queen Sharmell. Oh, boy. I'm so happy to deviate from our regularly scheduled program to cover the career retrospective of Queen Sharmell. First off, before I even start with a long video, before I even start with anything, lovely woman, right? Not a wrestler. She was a manager. She was a valet for Booker. That was kind of the gimmick, right? She came in with Booker T and TNA, and they had that really weird feud with Rude, and then they just had the even weirder feud with Beer Money, and then they just kept having weird feuds, and then he would join the Main Event Mafia, try to be African, right? While that was going on, Victory Road 2009 would occur. And Sharmell would have a match with Survivor Chick, Jenna Maraska, in what is now dubbed as the single worst wrestling women's match of all time. Which Brian Alvarez, and I will quote him here because he deserves it, because he's right here, said infamously on his Figure 4 Online podcast, -5 stars!
Oh, that's where he got it from.
That's where Matthew got it from. It's from that review of Victory Road 2009.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a shit show. From there, Sharmell would last like a little bit longer, and then she would just disappear for a while, not to be seen after the TNA run. And then him and Booker would start, or her and Booker would start up Reality of Wrestling, which is pretty wholesome. And Queen Sharmell got inducted into the Hall of Fame, which a lot of people originally questioned. And then her speech happened, and then you realized how very instrumental she was to Booker's success. And really the old adage of behind every great man is a great woman. And it was probably the most wholesome Hall of Fame speech ever to be done by anybody in the WWE. Even if it doesn't mean anything because it's not in the diner.
Yeah.
But even with that still, like, such a wholesome moment. And, I like Sharmell. Sharmell's cool. But that match sucked.
She's nice. She's a nice woman.
That match sucked. So I just wanted to get that out there. But I just really wanted to fucking talk about the Jenna Maraska match. Stay tuned, by the way, because one of the TNA retros that we're going to be having on deck this year is going to be Victory Road 2009. So that show sucked. That's going to be fun. But yeah, we'll get to that at a later date. But for right now, let's get to this ECW match. So I was wrong.
Yay!
I said it was the Raw match. I saw it was the Raw announcer table that Batista broke. It was actually the ECW announce table.
Fitting.
Of course it was, because Extreme. Why not?
Extreme.
Again, ECW all over the show, if you really think about it. They had the ECW table get broken. They had the Extreme Expo Day girls in that weird dance segment. They had Punk be the runner-up in the Money in the Bank ladder match. They had Bobby Lashley in the Battle of the Millionaire shit. And then we have this match. This is fucking a lot of representation. Like, it's crazy how much ECW was represented here. Like,
yeah, they really cared about ECW. Like, OG ECW here.
This is back when, and you know what it was? I don't even think it was the fact that Vince even cared about ECW. Let's be honest, I don't think he gave much of a shit, right? He really didn't know what ECW was. But I think the reason he treated ECW so well here was solely to stick it to Paul Heyman to say you were wrong. And then later gave up and said, yeah, you were right. And then gave the belt to himself as like the death knell, saying that, yeah, fuck, alright. We may have screwed the pooch here. That's what I think happened here. That's why I think there was so much representation for ECW, just to piss off Heyman. That's what I think it was, to be honest. Looking at this now, it kind of makes sense.
Just wish they could have carried on that notion in WWE ECW.
Well, it was the same thing. I mean, WWE. It was
well,
all
I mean,
WWE ECW.
But I mean, like any heartwarming tribute to OG ECW. I mean, not just for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's true. This was pretty heartwarming. We can get into it. We might as well, because it's a good transition to this. The ECW match was up next, with Joey Styles and Taz calling the match by the broken table. This was the ECW Originals team consisting of the Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Rob Van Dam, and Sabu. Not Sabu.
Sabu Mafu.
Sabu Mafu, you know. Fucking, I can't believe we made that fucking meme. I hope somebody, like, actually photoshops that, please. That'd be great.
Hey, guess what? Mike already did.
Oh, there we go. All right, perfect. Yeah, if somebody was going to do it, it was going to be Mike. Who all entered through the crowd. Of course they would. They're ECW Originals. They were the babyface team. The new breed consisted of Elijah Burke, Matt Stryker, Marcus Corvon, and Kevin Thorne. You know the old adage, one of these things just doesn't belong here? Yeah, make that two. Why is Stryker and Kevin with these guys? Hello?
I'm also beginning to think, wasn't Monty Brown a part of the new breed? I think I'm confusing him with Elijah Burke, but I'm pretty sure I thought I saw Monty Brown, or maybe that was like one of them afterwards. But yeah, I didn't know much about the new breed after that. Only that they were just coming in as like the WWE ECW type of guys. And I only cared about the ECW OGs only because I was told that the OG ECW guys were jaded.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
they were. Because Heyman was gone. Like, that's why. Heyman was gone. Dreamer gave no fucks after that anymore. He only stayed because of the check. Fucking Van Dam was over it and said as much on Jeff Meacham Network's. Well, I say Jeff Meacham Network, but NoDQ.com, the NoDQ.com interview that Jeff did with Van Dam, basically saying, I really hate this. Like, I really do not like this. God damn it. I keep getting fucking... I'm gonna keep getting bombarded until I order this pizza, so give me a minute. I have no choice. Sorry.
Nah, that's cool, man. I mean, you hungry, you gotta eat. Like, I still watch back on clips of Paul Heyman explaining why ECW go down the shitter. And honestly, thinking about it, I don't think it was entirely his fault. I mean, he tried what he could. It's just that there's just some people that didn't want to go with his plan.
Hold on, Nikos. You got to hear how my mom sounds right now. I know you're off the air right now, but Mom, speak onto the phone real quick.
Hello, I'm not a robot.
Mom, you could have fooled me. You sound like RoboCop on my air, and I don't know how that's even possible, but it's hilarious.
Alright, I just wanted to make sure you were checking in on your dad, making sure he's okay.
Yeah, I'm checking in on him.
Make sure he gets dinner and stuff. It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we do. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so that you guys can get dinner and stuff.
There we go. Now you're back to normal. I gotta send you that clip. It was unbelievable. Like, I was never gonna get that again. Like, you sounded like you were Mr. Roboto.
Alright. Make sure you check on your father and get him something to eat. getting late.
I will. We're gonna make sure we order the food. I'm gonna try to rush up this review and then get the food.
Yeah, hurry up. It's 8 o'clock.
All right, I will. I love you.
Okay. Love you too. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, everyone, bear with me because while Nikos is on the air, you're gonna have to just deal with my order, and then I'm gonna mute before I give my address. All right, so if you hear dead air, that's why. But just bear with me for right now. Call.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Just had to do a little bit of last-minute chores.
Yeah, we're all fucking. Yeah, you and I are both getting screwed up the ass with time here. Can you talk about this ECW match on the article I sent you? Because I have to do this.
Okay, for that, I'm gonna have to resort to using my phone, so I'm gonna be off camera for a minute.
That's fine.
But you're just gonna hear my voice.
That's fine.
Yeah, so let me just talk about the review real quick. Scrolling, and I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling. Okay, here it is. So, the ECW match was up next with Joey Styles and Taz calling the match by the Broken Table. It was the ECW Originals team consisting of Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Rob Van Dam, and Sabumafu, who all entered through the crowd. They were the babyface team. The New Breed team consists of Elijah Burke, Matt Striker, Marcus Corvon, and Kevin Thorne with Ariel. Pre-match notes. The ECW Originals were the faces, while New Breed were the heels. Match started off with Sabu striking off with Striker. Sandman hits a leg drop on the back of the head on Striker. Burke tagged in, and so did Dreamer as the heel team cheated to work over Tommy. Corvon hit a double underhook suplex on Dreamer, but then he hit a double team back body drop with Burke. Burke hit the double knees to the back of Dreamer. Thorne hit a nice sit-out slam on Dreamer. Corvon applied a choke on Dreamer. Dreamer hit a double neckbreaker on Corvon and Burke at the same time. Van Dam got a hot tag, and he destroyed Striker with a series of kicks. Jumping sidekick off the top by RVD on Thorne. There was a monkey flip by RVD on Striker, which, James, I'm knowing you were the one who said that this was the greatest monkey flip ever performed by RVD. The crowd cheered for RVD as he hit the Rolling Thunder on Striker. Corvon pulled RVD out of the ring. Sabu hit a somersault dive over the top onto Corvon. Dreamer with the DDT on Striker. And Pope knocked Dreamer out, and Sandman hit a clothesline to take Burke out. RVD went to the top and hit a perfect 5-star frog splash on Striker for the pinfall win at 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Winners by pinfall is the ECW Originals, of course. For the analysis of this match, apparently this guy said this match didn't click in with him. Like, he didn't do so much for him. Why not have an Extreme Rules match that showcased what ECW was supposed to be about? Well, now I'm thinking about it, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But then again, this was more dominant for the PG era where they're showcasing more of the WWE ECW, so obviously there's going to be less of that hardcore violence that you've known. I mean, hell,
yeah,
the broken ECW table and the Money in the Bank ladder match from earlier, that's as hardcore as you're going to get.
Where did you last leave off on this specifically?
I am on the analysis.
Oh, you're on the analysis. Yeah, okay. Yep. Okay, so we're pretty much right there at the end then. Okay, so yeah, he said the 2 stars. I agree with that. So I'll just read his analysis quick. You could come back on camera now. The match didn't do much for me. Why not have an Extreme Rules match that showcased what ECW is supposed to be about? Because they started not caring. A 10-minute brawl would have been a lot more fun. Instead, it was a regular 4-on-4 tag that was very forgettable in a lot of ways. I've always been a fan of Elijah Burke, and I was very surprised WWE released him when they did. Would go on to be the Pope D'Angelo De Niro. I always thought he had great potential. So yeah, it was. Yeah, so the two things that do not belong here, as I said earlier, Marcus and Elijah fit. Matt Stryker and Kevin Thorne did not. They did not at all. Yeah, I don't know. As much ECW showcasing as there was, I don't know. Like, it just started not being ECW. Like, even this match, like, it wasn't Extreme Rules. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, this should have been... Like, if this match was booked in, like, 2000, right? 2001, weapons everywhere. Plunder, they're kicking the shit out of each other with the objects. They're making it fucking
Blood
epic.
everywhere.
Yeah, blood everywhere
Violence,
type of thing, probably.
viscera.
Yeah, innovator of violence, dreamer at full display. Like, that's ECW. This ain't ECW. This is a development.
This is more of WWE ECW.
This is WWE Sunday Night Heat trying to be disguised as ECW. That's what it is.
Pretty much.
But it was okay. It wasn't like the worst. I mean, again, at least you had the best monkey flip of all time with Matt Stryker taking that monkey flip like a champion. So there is that. That's probably his highlight in WWE is that fucking monkey flip move wise. That and I'm marking out, bro, over Booker T showing back up at Royal Rumble 2011. At least we got a good 5-star frog splash also. So there you go. 6 minutes and 26 seconds. It was okay. It wasn't like anything special to write home about. It was like slightly below average, I think anyway. So that pretty much ends the ECW aspect of this. That's with the exception of the Battle of the Billionaires, which admittedly was a pretty big deal for ECW to be featured in any capacity, to be fair. There was an all-grown-up video about Steve Austin. It was announced that WrestleMania 24 would be in Orlando on March 30th, 2008, which they interestingly used the WrestleMania 22 logo in different colored paint and then changed it when they went to HD, which I thought was pretty fucking hilarious. So there you go. They did that the following year with the original WrestleMania 25 logo being changed to the 25th anniversary, even though it was the 24th. But anyway, who's counting?
Yeah.
Who's counting, right? But anyway, they showed legendary boxer Thomas the Hitman Hearns sitting at ringside, just randomly there.
Ooh.
He was a good boy. He was heavy hitter. I feel like a lot of people forget about him. Like, you never see him in the Fight Night games, too, and I feel like that's honest to God a shame. Like, because he was really...
That's a crying shame.
He's a really good fucking boxer. Like, people forget a lot of what he did for the scene of boxing. But, you know, especially in the Detroit area, for sure. The video package for the Battle of the Billionaires was up next. Oh, fuck. I realized we forgot to do career retrospectives on the ECW originals. Fuck. You know what? Here, I can sum it up in one sentence. They all went to TNA, and in some cases the NWA, and their careers went to die, unfortunately. The end. Good? Good. Alright, cool.
Good.
So yeah, so this video package for the Battle of the Billionaires was up next. This match was Vince McMahon's guy, Umaga, wrestling against Donald Trump's guy, Bobby Lashley. I always wondered if Trump ever watched WWE because he was so awkward in every one of those appearances. But the hype for this match was surprisingly pretty good. The stipulation for the match was that one of the billionaires would have their head shaved bald. Since Trump was famous for having awful hair, it was an intriguing possibility to a lot of people. They also announced Stone Cold Steve Austin as the referee to give it the star power it needed to be an even bigger match. Which, ironically enough, I think it was already a big match. Just for the puck and pop and circumstance. It was already a big deal.
Having Stone Cold out was just adding more cherries to the top.
Pretty much. Like, and, you know, it's very sports entertainment, for sure. Like, so that. The Barber's... I couldn't believe this. The barber's chair made its way down to the ring. It got its own entrance with barbershop music and everything. That was tremendous. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I wanted to see more of the barbershop.
That was the star of the show.
Barbershop school be featured in more matches.
Bro, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was a fucking chair floating down to the ring. It was so ridiculous. It was hilarious. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Oh my god, just a fucking chair, an empty barbershop chair, a whole barbershop actually. Not even a chair, it's a whole barbershop entrance. Fucking area got an entrance. And it made its way down the fucking ramp. It was unbelievable. Like,
I bet you it had a huge pop. That fucking chair got a huge
no, that's the
crowd
thing.
over.
Nobody popped. I popped my ass off. I couldn't stop
that's
laughing.
stupid.
Nobody popped. I'm like, dude, it's a barbershop chair. It's fucking ridiculous. How's nobody laughing at this?
Okay, now since it's going to be WrestleMania month or WrestleMania week, can we induct the WrestleMania 23 barbershop chair to be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh my god, yes, you know what? As an ottoman wing, sure. Why not? Why not?
The chair that made Vince go bald.
Yes, deserves its own wing. So yeah, I couldn't believe that. So Vince McMahon was introduced first. Then Umaga was next with Armando Alejandro Estrada. Yeah, that was my whole thing for that. Umaga was the Intercontinental Champion. You forget the Intercontinental Champion was also
true.
featured there too. Donald Trump made his entrance with a former Miss USA. Money fell from the ceiling for Trump's entrance with his face on it, by the way. A la JBL in WrestleMania 21. The ECW champion, Bobby Lashley, was next. Good pop for him, but not a huge ovation. He was physically imposing, but not the most charismatic guy. The glass broke, and Steve Austin emerged in a referee's shirt. Arrive, raise hell, leave, is what it said on the video screens. Huge ovation for Austin. Vince did the classic big gulp reaction to Austin's entrance. As only Vince can for that, by the way.
Yeah.
And apparently, so during commentary's thing, real quick, that so like he did like they said that Austin was in a foul mood and he wasn't going to give them either one of them's peripheral treatment, and boy was that ever true. We'll get to that later.
Oh boy.
There's a little parentheses here by this guy from TJRWrestling.net here. If you would have told me in 2007 that Donald Trump would be the U.S. president in 2016, I would have thought no way. I'm not American, but I obviously know Trump, as he's been a celebrity here for well over 30 years now. I even used to watch The Apprentice when it was good for a few seasons. There was always rumors that he would run for president. Then he finally didn't, and he won. Trump has been close friends with Vince McMahon for well over 30 years as well. Getting Trump to work this WrestleMania was a big deal for WWE, and the head-shaving gimmick was a smart idea. Honest to God, like that's what it was.
He can't stop winning.
He really can't. He really can't, can he? He'll still win, I'm sure. He'll find a fucking way, I'm sure. That'll be a cold day in hell, huh? Oh, fuck me. I don't even want to think about the media outrage and the civil unrest that may or may not occur in our local vicinities. This was an actual graphic WWE used to promote this match. It was very tongue-in-cheek. Battle of the Billionaires hair versus hair match. Umaga with Vince McMahon and Armando Alejandro Estrada versus Bobby Lashley with Donald Trump. What's tongue-in-cheek about that? What is tongue-in-cheek about this? I don't know.
Honestly, I feel like Bobby Lashley will be a lot better as Donald Trump's proxy instead of what he originally wanted. He wanted Hogan as Trump's proxy.
Hogan wanted... Trump wanted Hogan?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Dude, fuck.
Let's just be glad he said no.
I'm glad he said no, but oh my god. That would have been nuts. Like, Trump picking Hogan, and instead of McMahon picking Umaga, McMahon picked Austin.
I think
Shit.
McMahon, instead of Umaga, I think... So Trump wanted to pick Hogan, and McMahon wanted to pick Big Show when he was ECW champion, because like 20 years prior, right, they wanted to recreate the Hogan-Andre thing.
Oh my god. Really? Yeah, you're right. I remember stories about that going around, actually. Thanks for reminding me. I'm actually glad we got this match, all things considered, now, because this was the better matchup, by the way. Pre-match notes. McMahon with Umaga were the heels, and Trump with Lashley were the faces. The special guest referee was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I like Umaga more than Lashley. I thought Umaga did a great job of being a monster heel. Lashley was improving, though. Going into this match, you would think both guys would be WWE main eventers going into the next decade. But it didn't happen that way. Unfortunately, no, because Umaga would be dead, and then Lashley, he said, fuck Michael PSAs, and went off to TNA, and then to MMA, and then back to TNA, and made himself into a fucking star. And now they're just burying him because of it. Now he's finally got himself back in the good graces because, you know, a guy who actually knows how to fucking book talent is running the company now. Lashley attacked Umaga. Lashley attacked Umaga in the corner, and Austin pulled him off because Umaga was in the ropes. Lashley hit a shoulder block off the middle ropes. Estrada tried to interfere, so Lashley pulled him in the ring, and Lashley gave him a power slam. Umaga charged in. Lashley ducked, pulled the ropes down, and Umaga went crashing to the floor. This was painful-looking bump. This was a brutal-looking bump. Lashley charged in, Umaga moved, and Lashley went crashing to the floor outside. He did a fucking suicide dive to the outside by going in between the middle and top rope. Estrada was gone, so they did a spot early to take him out of the match. Umaga hit a big splash in the ring for a 2 count. Umaga choked Lashley. Austin got physical with him so he would break it up. Umaga attacked him with a clothesline and then used his giant ass as a weapon. I mean, yeah, that hip attack is pretty fucking deadly. Crushing Lashley's chest cavity. Samoan drop by Umaga, as William Regal would call him. Vince jumped on the apron to cheer Umaga on. Lashley ran the ropes and knocked Vince right to the ground. Umaga dropped Lashley with a neckbreaker. Trump encouraged Bobby. Umaga went to the top rope and Lashley threw him off with a slam. Lashley hit a clothesline with a flip bump. Great flip bump by Umaga for this. Both guys were down. After initially counting them down, Austin refused to count them down because he said no disqualifications or countouts. Because it's Austin. Why not? Shane McMahon ran down to the ring to support his father. Umaga with an uppercut, and then Umaga worked over Lashley in the corner with chokes, so Austin grabbed Umaga by the face to break it up. Shane McMahon jumped on the apron. Austin scared him down. Then Steve turned back to Umaga, who decked Austin with a punch to the throat, the Samoan Spike, with JR saying it was the Samoan Spike to Austin. Austin bumped to the floor. Vince was very happy about it. Shane went after Lashley. Lashley grabbed him, but Umaga made the save and hit his running butt splash in the corner on Lashley again. Always loved that move. Shane put the trash can on Lashley's face to set it up for the coast to coast. He has a jacket on while he did it too. Shane hit the coast to coast dropkick, smashing the trash can into Lashley's face. Shane took off his jacket and shirt to reveal a referee's shirt. They told Umaga to go to the top rope. Umaga hit a top rope splash on Lashley. Shane countered the pin, but Austin got back to his feet. Austin pulled Shane out and threw Shane into the steps. The crowd was going wild for Austin's comeback. When Austin went back into the ring, Umaga decked Austin with a punch to the throat. Vince was happy, so Trump attacked Vince on the floor with a tackle, and then Trump did the worst punches in history that the crowd popped huge for. It was the
Trump smites all evil.
I see. Smite, yes. In the history of the business. It did draw the big reaction, though. Trump not used to throwing punches, obviously, so I won't make fun of him that much. Umaga went after Austin with the Samoan Spike, but Steve avoided it and hit the Stone Cold Stunner on Umaga to a huge pop. Lashley gave Umaga a spear. Lashley covered, and Austin counted the pinfall at 13 minutes and 5 seconds. Winner by pinfall, Bobby Lashley. 2 3/4 star match, this guy says. I'm actually going to give this 3. Like, this shouldn't have been as good as it was, but this had really good moments in it. There was, the crowd were freaking into it.
A lot of hype built into this. Like, when watching this as a kid, I thought it was just goofy, but looking at back now, I'm like, yeah, this was goofy, but
it was good.
Fun.
It was fun. And you
considering
know what?
that Trump would be president literally fucking years later.
Yeah,
God.
I mean, listen, man. Sometimes wrestling would. That's all you need, man, is for it to just be fun. By the way, do you want to explain that you never bought that MAGA hat as well? Because I forgot to mention that you were given that. You were given that by a gift or something. Oh, that's right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're right. You did buy that at the time, and then
I bought it in Washington, D.C. in front of the motherfucker's house.
That's right. You're right. Did you regret your decision after the fact or no? Or
if I regret my decision, why would I be wearing it?
Yeah, it is a good meme. It is a pretty good meme. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, I'm going to just skip over his analysis and the brackets here because I want to get to the post-match here. Post-match, Austin threw McMahon into the ring. Shane attacked Austin from behind, so Austin gave Shane his breast, the punches, the FU elbow, and the Stone Cold Stunner that sent Shane out to the floor. But meanwhile, Vince is trying to crawl away, and he waved back to them in the ring. Lashley sprinted up the aisle like a fucking marathon runner, by the way, and carried Vince back to the ringside area. Austin gave Vince a Stone Cold Stunner to knock him out. Lashley put Vince in the chair. They strapped Vince in. Lashley took Trump's clippers to Vince's hair while Austin held Vince in place. The crowd was cheering. Vince was freaking out. Tell him to stop it! Tell him to stop it! My hair! My hair! Trump did most of the head shaving. They played the song Bald Headed Blues just for fun. They put shaving cream on Vince's hair to use razors to finish the job for him. That was very kind of them, really. It was one of the most entertaining head shaving incidents you'll ever see because of how well Vince sold it. To cap it off, Lashley puts a mirror in the face of Vince, and Vince fell out of the chair because he was so humiliated by what he saw. To cap it off, Austin, Lashley, and Trump celebrated with a beer bash. Then Austin gave Trump a stunner. Poor O'Donnell didn't know how to sell it right. They should have done a better job of teaching him because it left brutal. Austin then gets a good reaction. JR, I bet Trump's ex-wives are doing cartwheels. Good line.
Listen, son. Wrestling is fake. I will not take a Stone Cold Stunner. Fuck you. Give me my beer. Meanwhile, I'll grab my wife by the pussy. Thank you very much. Peace out. See you in 9 years. I expect all of you to be wearing this.
I'm gonna give this a full. I'm gonna give this a full-on thumbs up. By the way, great little.
I give this 2 thumbs up.
I've seen you do this shit. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Why did you do the Birdman flap? What the fuck?
Hey man, we need Owen to be part of this in some way, right?
Yeah, that's fair. All right, and then here's the next all grown up video. There was an all grown up video about John Cena. This one was the best one because it actually showed Cena as a legit kid. And,
so yeah, this made sense.
And the kid that portrayed Cena actually did a good job.
Not to mention the fact he's the only kid that wore a shirt.
Yeah.
What? Like,
yeah.
I'm watching the Batista and the fucking Bobby Lashley kids.
Well, I mean,
like,
they're being wrestlers. They're pretending to be wrestlers. Most of them have their shirts off, you know.
Okay, but fucking Kid Batista had these giant ass adult elbow pads that just don't fit him.
I know, brother. I know. I don't get it either. I really don't get it. Anyway.
Oh my god, do you think that kid had the pegging tattoo on his belly button?
Oh my god. I don't want to know.
Oh my.
I don't want to know, honestly. Probably not. Probably not. I would hope not. There were highlights shown from the pre-show match with Ric Flair and Carlito beating Gregory Helms and Chavo Guerrero. That was bullshit. Why did you bury them like that? What the fuck?
Why?
They were all buried by Flair, now that I think about it, because Carlito got buried by Flair in the program they had with him. And then fucking Gregory Helms and fucking Chavo had to get buried on the goddamn pre-show. This dude had a great feud with Rey Mysterio the year prior, and you're burying him on the pre-show? What the fuck? Alright, whatever. They never liked Chavo, did they? The Lumberjills made their way out for the women's title match. They were Mickie James, my favorite in the group, as he says. Fair enough. Favorite in our group, too. Watch WYW. Layla, Julian Hall, Candice Michelle, Kelly, Trinity, Tori Wilson, Brooke Adams, Crystal Marshall, Michelle McCool, Maria, and Victoria. Ashley made her entrance. She was the big Playboy push. So she got the title shot at WrestleMania. Who was the heel champion that got the paparazzi entrance as part of the gimmick? Melina. So it's Melina versus Ashley for the women's championship. I'm just going to be short and quick with this. Ashley attacked early. Melina was sent out of the ring, so the girls talked Melina back in. Melina dropped Ashley throat first across the ropes. Ashley came back with forearms and then a boot to the face for the vintage dives. Panty shot. Melina did a swing for a 2 count. Melina buried her feet into Ashley's back for a submission hold. Ashley came back with the head scissors. Ashley gave her the slowest monkey flip ever, the opposite of RVD's. Ashley hit an elbow to the middle rope with Melina move to cover for her 2. They did a pinning sequence. Melina won with a bridging pin at the end at 3:13. It was 3 minutes and 13 seconds. What a fucking waste of time. Waste of the women's division. Waste of everybody's time. Poor Ashley Massaro. We already know the history with that. And poor Melina and how she was treated, and all the women were treated, really. But yeah. One quarter stars, he says, match. Awful match, he says. You have anything to add to this?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. As a kid, I really didn't care about the women's division because I'm just... keep in mind, as a kid, I'm always advertising, like, why are women fighting in a promotion that's dominated by male?
Right.
And... now I know that sounds bad, but
at the time,
9-year-old me.
At the time, yes, and at the time, the way Vince was booking it like a fucking 9-year-old. So,
and now that I'm older, I understand. Yeah, you need to give women more representation of the sport that they are a part of, and not just see them as
eye candy,
panty shot, fucking.
I will
just
say,
there.
I will say the Melina splits. Always nice to see. I will say. But yeah, this was nothing.
Of course, I didn't know who any of these women were at the time. I mean, they looked nice. I'll just say that.
They did look nice.
Later into the show, I'm like, oh,
in fact, JBL said they were the sexiest women on television, and they all had like a big old little cat fight Donnybrook at the end of this. That's all that really was. It's just really sad that Ashley Massaro wouldn't be around with us anymore. Like, she killed herself like a few years ago. and a lot of it was because of the shit she was dealing with backstage by one particular man, allegedly. Not really allegedly. By the way, why did Paul London wait until then to fucking admit that Vince was an asshole and tried to harass Ashley Massaro? Could have said that like years earlier. Thanks, London. For nothing.
You know, I mean, it's all in the past, man.
Yeah. And then there was an all-grown-up video about Shawn Michaels. Actually, this might have been the second best one. This kid didn't embarrass himself too bad, to be fair. Kid did all the mannerisms right, so, yeah. So, Cena and Michaels. So, the main event of this show had to be correct. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
Anyway, the fans...
Vince were the...
Yeah. So the fans voted who will win with Cena versus Michaels. 59% picked Cena and 41% were hoping for Michaels. Video package started up for the main event. Ross pointed out that Cena had been beaten the WWE champion for 20 of the previous 24 months, while Michaels was looking to win the title one more time. There was a triple threat match between Michaels, Randy Orton, and Edge that Michaels won. Michaels had finished second in the Rumble, yet here he was in the main event of WrestleMania. There were also the tag team champions going into this match because the tag titles didn't matter a whole lot in 2007, which I find funny he puts that like this, but the way they treated the tag team titles when Rated RKO had them, they mattered a hell of a lot when they were feuding with DX, and that's why they had the tag titles. I think there's so much of a common misconception there. Yes, Cena won the tag titles with Michaels, but that's because they had to call an audible with that. They could not control that. Triple H tore his quad, he was fucked. They had to call an audible, so Cena was the next best choice because Cena actually had a trios going on a little bit with DX. So the next logical step was Cena. Especially when you consider the fact that Cena and Michaels actually brought Hogan back in a 6-man tag 2 years prior. So there is that too. Just saying. It makes a lot more sense than I think a lot of people give it credit for. But anyway. It was a babyface versus babyface match, in case you didn't know. Shawn Michaels entered to a big pop, and he used the D-Generation X music because he was in 2006. They were in 2006, and he and Triple H came back to DX. Hunter tore his quad in January, so he went out for this WrestleMania. Or he was out for this WrestleMania.
I specifically remember that after seeing his entrance, I remember having to go to the doctor to check if I had epilepsy. Because god damn,
did you really
flashing light?
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, because again, when you're exposed to wrestling at a young age, I mean, you wouldn't expect fucking DX to start hitting you with the flashing X's on the screen. As soon as I saw the X, I'm like, fuck, whoa.
Yeah, fair enough. Actually, fair enough.
So I mean, I still went, and they told me I was fine. It's just like it was a reaction. But honestly, WWE at the time, you could have at least had a warning.
They really should have had warnings back then for that shit, yeah. For John Cena's entrance, they filmed a Ford Mustang driving along an empty road and parking lot right in front of Ford Field. Because it's a Mustang, you see. It drove into the arena. It drove through some glass that had the WrestleMania 23 logo. It parked. Then John Cena emerged from the car with the WWE title. He entered to a good ovation. You can't have
shit in Detroit. Not even fucking glass in Detroit.
That's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up. Jesus Christ. Then John Cena.
Even though they were trying to recreate the thing with Austin with the infamous glass shadow.
Oh yeah, probably.
He just ran through it, especially in Detroit. It just adds to the meme of can't have shit in Detroit, can't have glass in Detroit.
Well, at least we're not Detroit. We're not Detroit.
We're not Detroit.
Anyway, so man, it was a bit cheesy, but in the Motor City, it made sense, especially because Cena is a car aficionado. And he is, by the way. Holy shit, is he? Got, like, more...
Yeah, he knows his cars.
I think he's got more cars than muscles at this point. And those are a lot of muscle cars. See what I did there?
He's got more cars than hair.
Prior to the match, a fan jumped into the ring to do some posing, but he was quickly tackled, and they didn't show him again. This was not shown on the WWE Network rebroadcast of this match.
Wait, did they seriously have that? I completely missed that.
But you can see it in the video above. Oh, wow. That actually happened? Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna do something here. Cause I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Cause that's crazy.
The only thing I remember from that match was just like the entrances of them going down to the ring. I never imagined there was a fan that jumped the guardrail. I thought that
no, there was.
I don't know if that was planned.
No, that was legit. That legit happened. That wasn't even planned. All right, here's the clip. Hold on. I know you guys can only see half of Nikos and me, but here's the clip. So hang on. This is from the WrestlingHub.com. So it's Shawn Michaels. They're checking for weapons or whatever. I'm just gonna do this. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. They cut it right off. Yep, I remember this now. I remember this wholeheartedly now.
Fucking ref just decked some vanilla ice looking motherfucker. What the shit?
Yeah, he fucking decked him huge. Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, all right. It must have been one of those blink and you'll miss it moments. And that's probably what I imagined.
Yeah,
because I
that's
have
what it
no
was.
memory of that kid jumping the guardrail.
None.
So,
yeah, I agree. I had no idea. Fair enough. There you go. Get Mandela.
Get Mandela.
So there you go. WWE Championship match. John Cena versus Shawn Michaels. Pre-match notes. I'm not even going to read that because I don't have time. So Michaels went for a handshake early. Cena said no because Michaels had super kicked him on Raw and he didn't trust Michaels. So Shawn slapped him, John, in the face, followed by an HBK crotch chop. The early story was Michaels was using his speed to avoid Cena's power. Eventually, Cena was able to slow him down with a clothesline. Michaels came back with some Austin-like Thez presses and gave Cena a hip toss over the top rope onto the floor below, which looked fucking gnarly, by the way. Michaels hit an enziguri out to the floor. Michaels hit the springboard moonsault off the middle rope onto Cena, which sent them both into the table. The table did not break. Great spot in the ring. Cena went for a kick. Michaels blocked it and punched the left knee of Cena. Michaels attacked the leg and ran the kneecap right into the post. He was working like Bret Hart here, by the way. I was very impressed by how Michaels was working in this match. Michaels continued to attack the left knee of Cena for the next several minutes. When Cena tried to strike Michaels to avoid it and went after the knee some more, the crowd wasn't into the match at this point, although it was okay because you could tell they were building up to something. Cena finally connected on a right hand to the face, but HBK came back with a corner charge into the stomach. They exchanged blows, which Cena won thanks to a punch to the head. Michaels charged up into the corner and Cena moved, so HBK crashed headfirst into the ring post. Shawn Michaels came up bleeding after doing a blade job. Cena hit a clothesline, then ran on top of him with punches to the head. It was at this point that the match where Cena stopped selling the knee. Not sure why. Cena hit his moves of doom with the shoulder blocks and the side spinning suplex. He shook his knee off a few times, so I guess it was enough for him to be healed. He should have kept selling it some more. Cena hit the 5-knuckle shuffle. Michaels avoided the FU, later known as the Attitude Adjustment. They later hit the exchange. They then had an exchange of counter moves. Then Michaels went for a super kick. Cena ducked, and ref Mike Chioda took the right kick on the chin. What a sell by Chioda to the floor, by the way. Really well done. Cena went for the FU. Michaels countered it into a DDT. Very clean counter like that. JR called it a brilliant counter. That was right. Both guys were down. Michaels felt the blood on his head, so he went outside of the ring and took off the top half of the steel steps. He dragged Cena out to the floor. Michaels gave Cena a pile driver on the steel steps. People weren't doing pile drivers anymore, so that move meant so much more here. Michaels rolled Cena back in. Referee Jack Doan came sprinting down the aisle to take over. Michaels covered for the 1, 2, no. Very good near fall, he says. I agree. Michaels hit a flying forearm to the face, and JR busted out a vintage Shawn Michaels for the move. Michaels nipped up. Michaels went to the top rope for the flying elbow to the chest of Cena. Michaels then went for the super kick. Cena was able to hit a clothesline out of nowhere. Great selling job by Michaels on that one. They did another slugfest. Cena went for an FU, but Michaels was able to counter with a roll-up for a 2. Great knee fall there, too. I forgot to mention that Cena was bleeding at the top right of his head. They ran the ropes. Michaels went for a leapfrog. Cena caught him with the FU in the middle of the ring. Cena was too hurt to make the cover right away. He crawled over and covered for a 2 count. Crowd cheered. Cena put Michaels on the top rope, and he wanted to give Michaels the FU off the top rope, but Michaels knocked him off. Shawn Michaels hit a crossbody. Then Cena countered him for the FU again. Michaels landed on his feet, went for the super kick. Cena ducked and grabbed his foot for the STFU, and Michaels kicked away multiple times. Shawn turned it into a roll-up for a 2. That was a really good sequence there. Back to their feet. Michaels missed with an enziguri, which led to Cena putting him in the STFU. Michaels made it to the ropes. The crowd cheered. They weren't really anti-Cena. Oh, no, trust me, they were anti-Cena, probably. Like the previous years at Mania, but they liked Michaels, too. The ref told Cena to break the hold when he reached the ropes, with Doan physically pulling Cena off. That allowed Michaels to get to his feet and connect with sweet chin music. Super kick, put down Cena. Michaels was slow in covering as Shawn covered with an arm over the chest for 1, 2, no. Cena got the right shoulder up. That meant each man had kicked out of the other's finishing move of the other guy. Both guys struggled to get to their feet. Cena went for the FTU. Michaels countered. Cena tripped Shawn up and put him in the STFU, wrenching on his face while hooking the left leg. Michaels was in the hold for about 30 seconds, and he was right in the middle of the ring. Michaels tapped out to give Cena the win at 28 minutes and 22 seconds. This guy gives it...
It was very fast-paced action. It's just that the reason why I wouldn't consider this like a main event is because I think it has to do with the crowd just not getting into it.
Yeah, they weren't nearly as into it.
Moment.
Good match. Ron spot on the card. I would give it 3 3/4 stars. It was really, really well done, though. They both played their roles well. This would not be the best match that they would have. That would come in the Raw in London. And they would have a killer match, a fatal 4-way match with the Rated RKO boys at Backlash, which was just stellar. So, all in all, not the best match they'd have together, but definitely a really good match. Just Ron spot on the card. I agree with you. I think
Batista and Undertaker, this should have been main events of this.
Yes, and especially when you consider the fact they fucking won the goddamn thing. You know?
Yeah.
They won the match. So, I don't know. It was weird. It was fucking weird. But
and I've been saying this for a while now with you guys in private, but I just want to bring it up to, like, the retro. Shawn Michaels, known as Mr. WrestleMania, has lost more WrestleManias than he's been in.
Yes. Exactly.
Honestly, if there is a wrestler in this company that deserves the title Mr. WrestleMania, it's Taker.
It is Taker. Only because of the streak, yeah.
Look at his track record.
Yep. Exactly that.
That's my opinion. But aside from this match, yeah, I thought it was a very good back and forth match. Not their best match here. I think maybe later down the road would be a little bit better. It's just that since this was supposed to be a main event, I just wish that the crowd got more into it. And honestly, that's probably what took me out of this match, was just mainly just for the crowd.
Yeah. True.
And I remember during this time when I started watching the WWE, John Cena's name was a big deal. like a Boston made guy becoming world champ, like WWE champion of the company.
Everybody, I don't know where it was like in schools everywhere else in the world, but wrestling was still a hot topic in schools when we were growing up, like just as much as it was in the Attitude Era, at least in our neck of the woods. Like everybody talked about Cena, everybody talked about DX, everybody talked about Taker, everybody talked about Batista. Like that was like the topic in school. Like that was just it. It was wrestling.
And like mainly for Cena because of the fact, like I said earlier, he was a Massachusetts-born dude and he was the company's champion. I think that's pretty much a big deal.
Yeah, like for us, that was huge. Like we have a WWE champion, and this was like during the sports craze as well. So like we took that uber serious. Like we always said, we had the Boston Red Sox win, and the Celtics win, and the Bruins win, and the Patriots win, and Cena won, you know, and we always, you know, Cena's like our guy just as much as the Red Sox and the Patriots and all that. So it's like that's what I think also influenced it too for our neck of the woods anyway. But yeah.
And Michaels, as you can see, his prime at that point had been gone for a long time. Like from his back injury that would become infamous with his character, it wouldn't help him a lot, but I mean, at least he did try to put on a match. It's just that you can tell at each passing moment, his time in the company is like slowly diminishing.
Yeah, he was about to
year that he would partake in WrestleMania.
And that's not to say he didn't have awesome fucking matches, by the way, because he did. But especially the Taker ones. The Taker ones are fucking iconic. But man, like it was.
And in fact, that whole match at 25 is the reason why it got me back into wrestling, was just that match.
Yeah, and fair enough. I mean, it's a great fucking match. But anyway, that's not the Mania we're covering. That was covered by Noah Foster and Owen Finch, though, if you want to go check that out. But let's give a letter grade now that we gave our star ratings for each match. What is your overall letter grade for WrestleMania 23?
I found this pay-per-view to be very nostalgic and very, like, connecting with me, since this is, like, my first ever the first time I've ever been exposed to WWE. It's kind of like how Casey said that he has a special place in his heart about WrestleMania 15, despite on how muddied that event was. For this pay-per-view, I mean, you had Batista as world champion fighting The Undertaker when, based off what we've seen from his iconic entrance to his immaculate streak after winning the Royal Rumble and having placed as 14-0, now going 15-0 in streak. Then you had Cena fighting Shawn Michaels. You had the Battle of the Billionaires, which pretty much what got everyone hooked up at that time. You had a really cleverly built undercard that would slowly work in their way to achieving something, even though there were some hiccups down the road. Yeah. They still were portrayed well. You had the love of ECW OG, which is another reason why I got into wrestling, was because of ECW. Not WWE ECW, but just ECW in general.
Right.
Like, with this pay-per-view, I found it extremely awesome of how it turned out for everyone, and it just gets better with time. I know a lot of people will look at this and say, oh, you know, now that in the modern day we look at this pay-per-view as kind of old and outdated, and, you know, we have to address the 900-pound elephant in the room, you know, that is Benoit. But honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care. I found this pay-per-view awesome as a kid, and I find it awesome as an adult now. So, and honestly, for my letter grade, I give this an A. Not an A+, because, of course, there are some moments nowadays where some matches are kind of like, but my strong letter grade, I give it an A. I know that Owen, he gives his rankings like S tier and
no, I started whatever, that. I started that method because I was like, you know what, why the fuck not? Yeah, that was my method.
But for me to keep it real, for my star rating, I just give it a solid A. This was a really good start on my
I agree.
My
your fandom of Mania.
I guess it's fan appreciation
for not just WWE, but for wrestling.
Yeah.
And how, like, because of this pay-per-view and because of wrestling in general, I wouldn't have met you, Mike, Casey. My interest in wrestling would have died long ago because, again, after Punk left, I pretty much didn't give a shit about the company afterwards.
So
and thanks to you guys, you know, I tend to look at wrestling in a whole different way.
We pulled you back into the shit circle.
Oh, yeah, I mean, sure. You have pulled me back, and we went through some pretty shitty-ass, terrible wrestling pay-per-views and matches. But at the end of the day, we can take a look at pay-per-views like 23 and admire just how good wrestling can be with the right amount of people that you are surrounded with.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
we can go on different pay-per-views and companies and shows and see. We can look at every bad and take it with the good and take every good with the bad. At the end of the day, we're all still fans of the same product. There's just some moments in life that when you look at something that you appreciate as not much of a hobby, but like something you enjoy watching purely for entertainment purposes, it's always the ones that are going to be the ones that stick with you the longest. And that is why, in my opinion, I will cherish WrestleMania 23 as the starting point of why I became a hardcore wrestling fan and why you should take notice of how it builds up into your view way of wrestling.
Very well said. I can't believe I have to follow that. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Solid A.
I mean, you can try, but
no way.
You do you.
I want to add just one thing that I feel you talk about the good and the bad. There was some segments on there, as we know, with the freaking all grown up segments. It was just so bad it was good.
But even then,
yeah,
the all grown up sections. Yeah, at the time of the kids, I mean, we're just looking at it like, oh, that's nice. They have
children.
a grown up moment with the kids. And we're looking as adults now. I'm like, wow, these are some scrawny ass little bitches.
Yeah,
I wonder what they do for a living.
Man. Like the good is good when it's good. Like the only thing that drags this Mania down for me is Trump's segment, Vince's segment, and the nothing women's match and the Kane Khali match. Like everything else was pretty good. All things considered, there was a damn good Mania. Like that's pretty stellar. That's why I give it a solid A, really.
Like you can go through any other YouTubers like analysis or reviews on WrestleMania 23. They'll all say the same thing. It was awesome.
It was a good Mania. It was a really good Mania, especially considering it was the first Mania in the stadium in like 4 years up to that point. The last one was 19. So like that was a huge deal too when you really think about it. So yeah, I mean, all in all, great Mania, great show. And I think with that said, my friend, we're gonna get to the plugs. So do you have anything to plug or promote, or do you want me to just do all the plugs since we're all pretty much a part of the same shit? With the exception
we're pretty much all in the same form of affection. I do have one thing to say. For those of you wondering about Royal Lion Lounge, so far, me, Jack, and Mike, we have been working together on Twitter. If you want to know where we do Royal Lion Lounge, it's going to be on Jack's Twitter. I don't know if he's got permission to look up, or if I'm supposed to say his Twitch account, but basically just look up.
Here, I'll even say here. Follow Twitch. .tv.
I know it's been
/ Firelord Kuzan. I think, right?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's it.
I know we haven't like uploaded a lot about Royal Lion Lounge. It's mainly because of the fact that we have work.
Yeah.
Specifically me, Mike, and Jack.
Yeah.
But if you still want to hang around with us, where basically all we do is watch terribly funny Nicolas Cage movies, come right ahead. We also watch old wrestling pay-per-views that get a laugh out of us.
There you go.
But for our next watch along, we don't know when exactly. Again, you'd have to follow on Jack for more info. If you want to follow me around, my Twitch handle is Lionheart Nikos at WYW. You can also follow me on Facebook too if you want. It's literally my name, Michael Nikos.
You could also follow
Links
him
in the
on
description.
also follow him on Twitter at LionheartNikos. There you go.
Yep. And yeah, James.
There we
what do you
go.
gotta say?
Well, I got this. I got a lot, so I'm just going to be quick with this. But so far, I got Wrestling with EDC number 7, where Casey and I go over our favorite WrestleMania matches. Impact Wrestling Sacrifice commentary on the Jeff Beecham Network, featuring myself and Noah Foster. Go check that out. Open mic night and karaoke night, where if you super chat, Noah has to do the singing, and Simple Man don't like singing. So go check that out if you want to super chat. There you go. It's going to be funny. Watch AEW Spark this week with myself and Noah Foster, covering Week 11 of all things AEW tomorrow night. It's going to be tomorrow night. We're covering everything from last week. Nothing from Dynamite, Dark, or Dark Elevation this week. We're going to be saving that for next week's. It was the only time we could do it. So stay tuned for that. We cover Week 11 of all things AEW. Watch AEW Spark from last week. Watch WWE Aftershock from last week, which covers all things WWE. Watch for the following retros. The first WrestleMania, WrestleMania 15 Retro, WrestleMania 2000 Retro, WrestleMania 25 Retro, WrestleMania 24 Retro featuring special guest Jeff Meacham, WrestleMania 21 Retro with the return of John Tuddy. Watch the chaotic review of WrestleMania 10 with Steve Coakley raising all sorts of hell. Watch the update video to expect what's coming next for this week on the channel. Subscribe to CM Brothers as well, and subscribe to Onatakinator Studios, where we will be doing similar shows on that channel. Stay tuned for that as well. And finally, last but certainly not least, since we're both a part of this, watch the Indie Force, goddammit. Even the old stuff, especially on the Casa D18 Studios, who are airing the old Indie Forces. And subscribe to Weymouth Youth Wrestling at youtube.com/user/WYWPride. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk to you guys later. And since this is being live streamed in the present, and since we will be doing shit in the future, I fucked it up. I meant to say, we did shit in the past. We're live streaming in the future. All right, we did shit in the past, and since we're live streaming in the current, we'll talk to y'all in the future. See you guys next time. God fucking damn it.
Redoing all the classics, you heard it, then I grabbed it. Flow like Method Man, then run like I'm Rabbit. Soon as I hear the bass line, it be my FaceTime. Music's in my veins, so just in case I'm without my iPod or a media player, I'll check my